Live from Deathray Studios in the sunny West Valley of Phoenix, it's Late Night with the Davey. Appearing on tonight's show, Mel from My Killer Podcast. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Davey Deathray. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here with another edition of Late Night with the Davey. How's everyone doing on this lovely, lovely Wednesday evening? Well, crap. I wish it were lovely out here in the desert. Last week we had some temperatures that were under 100, and now today we're back at it. 110 today. It's absurd. This is the end of September, and it's 110 out there. You have got to be kidding me. I can't believe it. How am I going to dress up as Michael Myers on Halloween if it's going to be like 80 degrees? I don't know how I'm going to do it, everyone, but really pumped to be hanging out with you guys. It feels like it's been a while. So even though I guess it's just been a couple days. But yeah, I just want to say what's up to everyone in the chat. Hope you guys are having a great week thus far. We've got Eli Cortez, one of our great channel members, and Death Squad Mod saying, "What's up, Davey, Mel, and the mighty Death Squad?" How you doing tonight, Eli? Great to see you. Reminding everyone to slash that like button and sub to both of these amazing channels. Thank you so much, Eli. Really appreciate it, and appreciate you dropping Mel's link there in the chat as well. Yeah, if you guys are not subbed over to My Killer Podcast, get on that right now. All sorts of links in the description below. So, you know, you can check her out on the Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, of course. And there's I even dropped the link tree so you can get every little bit of Mel that you can get there through the magic of the World Wide Web. All right. And we've got our amazing channel member, Big Rod, hanging out. What's happening, Big Rod? Great to see you. We got Zub Zero in the chat. Nice to see you as well, Zub. Love seeing you popping in. Raymond Malaber. How you doing, Raymond? Great to see you. Another one of our channel members as well. And we got even Mel is popping into the chat saying, "What's up?" I love it. Dynamite Tiger. How you doing, Dynamite? Great to see you here. Robert the Wolfman. Ow, ow. Another one of our Death Squad mods and great channel members hanging out there. Hope you're having a good week so far, Robert. Always a pleasure seeing you pop in. We got Antonis in the chat. What's happening, Antonis? Not much is up, broski. Just had what I like to call a fuck of a day at work. It was by the end of it all, I was like, will I even be able to switch gears for the show? We'll see. So even now I'm like, but I know you guys are gonna ground me, help me switch gears, hop on a different track, whatever sort of euphemism is the correct one here. And yeah, we'll have a great rest of the evening here. Let's see who else we got. Jamie Hart, our original Death Squad mod. How you doing, Jamie? Great to see you. Jamie says, "I already lived in most of those decades, except for the 60s. So you might as well pick the 60s. Jamie is referring to our poll that says, if you could live 1 year in any decade, which would you choose? And I mean, even if you already lived through the decade, like, I think it would be cool to go back and live, one of the years out of the 80s. And, I guess you can, if you want to specify in the chat, go ahead and specify in the chat which year you'd pick. Or if you're watching this after the fact, drop it in the comments. If you could live in any decade just for a year, what would you pick? I'm just kind of thinking that whole nostalgic route, like 60s, 70s. Originally, I was just going to do like 80s, 90s. And I'm like, well, let's open it up because I feel like, I was born in the early 80s. I feel like I missed some cool shit in the 70s. So I think I would probably pick the 70s. And hopefully I would get 75 so I could go see Jaws in the movie theater. So hopefully that's how that would work out for me. But knowing my luck, probably not. I'd probably get some lame ass, like, I don't know, 71. When did nothing happen in the 70s? I don't know. Liana Baby Rage, what's happening, Liana? Great to see you in the chat. One of our great channel members there, Liana. And we've got Necro Mechanimal. Love Necro's work on Instagram. If you guys are not following Necro, go give him a follow. Absolutely. We got Prince hanging out in the chat. What's happening? Yeah, this should be a pretty fun episode here. I'm looking forward to it. I've done a couple of the Rad 9 challenges from the Rad Pack, which Mel is a part of. But other than just sort of like jumping in live chats or I don't know, DMing to get this all set up, another example of a guest where this is pretty much going to be like the first time we're really chit-chatting. So it'll be really cool to get to know Mel a little bit better. She can get to know me a little bit better. And then of course, you guys in the mix as well. Really excited about that. We got Gory Tiger. What's happening, Gory? Great to see you. And we got our guy, Foz Rotten. Love you so much, Foz. Always a pleasure to see you in the chat, my brother. Hope you are doing well and hope you get a kick out of what you're able to enjoy here on the show. I know it's a little bit late where you are out there on the other side of the country, but thanks so much for hopping in. And we got Lamontre Gillard. What's happening, Lamontre? Always awesome to see you as well. One of the rare instances where Lamontre is not the very first comment on the live stream. So really, really fun stuff. Somebody beat you to the punch today, Lamontre. Sorry about that. And we've got boom, Brett from Good Real Hunting. What's happening, Brett? One of our great Death Squad mods here and channel members as well. Always a pleasure seeing you in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's see who else we got. Jigsaw's hanging out. Good evening. I don't know why, but the intro sounds like an intro to a game show. Yeah, I was looking for like late night music that wouldn't get me in trouble with copyright. So I ended up finding a song that I can just use. But yeah, it definitely has that. I'm kind of going for that like late 70s, early 80s kind of vibe, I guess. It sort of fits the whole late night with the devil thing, which, if you didn't catch on at this point, yeah, the whole late night with the Davey thing is from Late Night with the Devil. So yeah, just trying to kind of fit that vibe a little bit for sure. Let's see here. We got Alan Smithy's Ghost. All right. The great Alan Smithy. That's, when a director doesn't want to put their name on a movie, they usually use Alan Smithy. I think there's another one that gets used, but I can't remember what it is right now. Great to see you in the chat, Alan Smithy's Ghost. I think this is your first time. So everyone in the Death Squad, make Alan Smithy's Ghost feel very, very welcome for hanging out here. And we got Jonathan Nichols, one of our great channel members, kicking it with us. What's happening, Jonathan? Great to see you hanging in the chat as well. Aaron Click, what's happening, Aaron? Always a pleasure to have you join us. And Nicholas McMath. I'm doing okay, Nicholas. It was a wild one at work. So really happy to be just kicking it with you guys. Absolutely. Let's see here. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone else. Dynamite Tiger would pick 1988. Fair enough. I think that's a good year. That was a fun one for sure. I think I was in first grade. So discovering so much about life in 1988. Probably watching RoboCop on VHS, Yeah, quite a bit probably that year. Yeah, that was a good one. Nicholas says he'd pick 90s mostly because he's a mid-90s baby. So you want to go back and kind of experience that time. I totally get it because as an 80s baby, I really only remember the end of the 80s. So, that's how that rolls. We got Sean Laughlin in the chat. What's happening, Sean? Great to see you popping in here. Thoughts on the Sinners trailer? I have not seen it, Sean. I'm kind of off trailers right now, and I'm interested. We can bring in Mel and even ask her about this because I've had this whole shift on trailers where like maybe I'll watch the teaser trailer, and if it looks good to me, then I'm not watching anything else. And if I watch the teaser and it doesn't look good to me, then I'm probably not interested in seeing anything else. So that's kind of where I'm at because I've seen some trailers just in the last like 4 or 5 months that I don't know. I felt like the first one was all I needed, and the second one just sort of deflated me a little bit. So yeah, haven't seen it. I've heard it looks great. So maybe I need to give it a gander or at least read a little synopsis or something like that. Jamie wants to live through 1967 in the summer of love. Ooh, yeah. You mean the summer of a big boom of STDs because they didn't know what kind of trouble they were getting themselves into? That's all I think of. It's just a big old mess, summer of love, but no one thinks about the consequences, Jamie. We got Movie Misfits Video, Chris Snyder hanging out in the chat. What's happening, Chris? One of our great Death Squad mods here hanging with us. Always great to see you, sir. If you guys don't sub over at Movie Misfits Video, go over and give him a sub. Absolutely. Let's see here. We got Blu-ray Addict in the chat. Says, did you see Amazon is making a RoboCop TV series? I did not see that, Blu-ray. I'm so far behind on news, and I don't know. Maybe RoboCop is just a product of the 80s because I turned off that remake about 15 minutes in. It just had nothing that I would look for in a RoboCop movie at all, so I bailed. Kind of like the Child's Play 2019 remake. The first time I watched it, I was after the opening scene, I was like, this is garbage. Click. I used to never do that with movies, but I've gotten a lot less patient as the time goes on, for sure. All right, I think I've said hello to everyone in the chat. It doesn't look like I've missed anyone. So guys, we are at 18 after the hour here. So why don't we bring in our guest, Mel from My Killer Podcast. She's also a member of the Rad Pack, as I had said before. And gosh, I hope I remember this correctly. Is it the Lost Girls, Mel? Give me a nod if I'm right. Excellent. The Lost Girls. So, Mel is incredibly busy and active on the YouTubes. And I'm really excited to bring her on and just have a little chat here and get to know her and get to know what makes her tick. So everybody, welcome Mel from My Killer Podcast. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
All right. Yeah. So pumped that we could make this work. I know, it took a little bit to get you scheduled and everything. So really appreciate you appearing as a guest here, especially as we kind of like switch gears from September to October and really move full bore into spooky season. I would imagine you're a pretty big spooky season fan. Do you have like a warm-up movie or warm-up movies you watch in September before October hits?
I usually do at the end of September, I make a video. It's called my Halloween 13 Witch List. It's like 13 movies I pick out that I want to watch for the month of October to get me into the spooky season. I have yet to make that video, so stay tuned, but it's coming. Those are the movies that get me into the Halloween spirit, but there's a couple on the list that are like my ride or dies that I have to watch every year, but I try to mix it up and keep it fresh and watch some new ones and some old ones. And so that video will be coming soon.
Hell yeah. What's your what is your like absolute ride or die? Like, do you have like a top 3 or top 5 or something like that?
I don't have like it kind of rotates like every other year. I don't have like one movie I'm like, I gotta watch this every year. But like the Hocus Pocus, like you gotta watch that like every other year. Or, I like to watch The Lost Boys every year and those kind of things.
Hell yeah. Are you a Monster Squad kind of gal? Do you like the Monster Squad?
I mean, no, I'm gonna be honest.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it though?
I have seen it. It's been a while. That one was never like one of my favorites though, for some reason.
Interesting. Ooh. What's happening, Garrett? Great to see you popping in, man. Yeah, I was always like, I love the Goonies, but I probably like as a kid, I think I watched Monster Squad more because I was just so in love with all those like Universal monsters and all that kind of stuff. From a young age. So yeah. I think that just sort of fascinated me in a different kind of way.
I feel like I should like that movie more than I do. And I just don't know why I didn't like gravitate towards that.
Sometimes that's just how it goes, right? I mean, that's the interesting thing about art is like, sometimes something grabs you, sometimes it doesn't. When was the first time you saw it? Were you a kid when you saw it?
Yeah, I was like super young when I saw it and I was like, yeah, this is cool. And then I just kind of moved on with my life. I don't know.
Yeah, I was the kid that was, like, renting it, like, every other month or something, you know, like,
Oh, see,
totally
that's fun.
totally pathetic, but I grew up in a tiny town in Alaska, there wasn't much to do, so,
Oh my
you know,
god.
I just rewatched the same
That's
things over and
amazing.
over, and it probably like, I'm kinda that way now where, like, I find myself, you know, I always, like, revisit movies or maybe there's, like, you know, the Friday the 13th, I probably watch those, like, once or twice a year, like, just randomly, like, do you have any
Yeah,
movies
see,
like that or
those are another one that I'm like, "Meh, Friday the 13th's not my jam."
is there a horror franchise that, like, really does do it for you?
I'm a Nightmare on Elm Street girl, I love that franchise.
Nice. And man, you just must be just dying for something new, right? Do you have a is there like an actor that you wanna see take over or like a director that you wanna see put out a Nightmare on Elm Street film?
No, I really hated the remake of that already, so
Yeah.
I'm like, if Robert Englund doesn't do it, I don't want it. It's fine the way it is. I would love a new physical release box set of it, but other than that, I'm
Mhm.
good.
Cool. So you're like, what they put in the can is good enough as it
Yeah, that was
was. Like,
great. I loved it.
yeah. They've gotta be putting something
Leave her
together for
alone.
yeah, exactly. They're they've gotta be putting something together, right, for all the physical media kids out there, like, I mean, I know they just put out a 4K of, like, the first movie or announced a
Yeah.
4 something like that, but, yeah, where's the box set? Where is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're getting one, to be honest.
Yeah, I wonder if that's one of those things that, like, you know, because the rights with Friday the 13th are a total mess, and I think Wes Craven's estate has the rights to A Nightmare on Elm Street, so maybe it's just one of those things where, like, they're not really interested in making that happen? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Garrett says Mel kinda likes Elm. She's not a big 3 gal, so she just defaults to Elm. Alright, fair
That's so
enough.
not true.
I'm like a Halloween guy, whereas like I think like Halloween is what really does it for me. Like I love Michael and the mystery and all that. Friday the 13th for me is just like fun. Like you just can put it on in the background whenever, you know, it's like, yeah, whatever, it's fun. And then Nightmare has got a little bit of that. Like to me, that's like the rock star, like the rock and roll of the big three, you know. Not even just Dream Warriors. I think like 3, 4, and 5. Even the second one have that kind of MTV sort of
Mhm.
feel, you know? And Freddy's just like so brash and so much damn fun. Do you
Yeah,
have oh, go ahead.
I like it because he's funny. I like it when he's like when he becomes funny because he's kinda serious at first, which is great too because he's scary then, but, like,
Yeah.
when he becomes funny after that, I absolutely love it. Like, it's over the top and it's ridiculous, and that's what I like about it, but it's also so creative and
Yeah.
amazing, so that's what I like about it. It's more fun to me.
Yeah, I think that there's like when you watch those movies, especially after like once they hit Dream Warriors, like from that point on, it's like, oh, it's like if you're doing special effects, like this is the franchise that you want to be involved in. And if you're a fan that likes creative gore or just creative setups, like that's the franchise for you because it just seemed to sort of like every movie that came out, they were trying to like up the ante or outdo the
Mhm.
one before it, you know? I just recently ranked them in like May and revisited them all within like a week. And I was kind of
Oh, man.
surprised. Like I really enjoyed the fourth one so much more than like I ever had. It was weird to watch them all just back to back to back. And that fourth one stood out to me as like, man, I don't think I appreciated this movie enough before.
Mhm.
Do you have one of the films in the franchise that is sort of like your sleeper pick for maybe like underrated or like a you know a favorite that maybe isn't? I mean, most people say Dream Warriors or the first
Yeah,
one. Do you have one in there?
I need to go back and revisit them all because it's been a while since I've watched them all back to back. I still really enjoy the first one, um,
Yeah.
so
That's the thing, like, for me, the first one is, like, that's the jam, you know, it's
mm,
like, Freddy is at his scariest, there's a bunch of mystery there, I lo Drunk Mom is great, you know, the
yeah.
franchise The franchise has so many drunk parents. Like,
I
it's
know.
not even just the first movie. It's like that's like a staple. Just like I noticed the dirty walls. That's like a big thing in like 4, 5, and 6. Like there's these dirty walls everywhere in the house, like where these people live.
There's just
It's
so much
it's crazy.
questionable parenting going on throughout the entire series. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, the beginning of Dream Warriors is like mom just comes home with like some piece of meat and she's like, "Hey, can you keep it down? Can you go to bed so mom can get laid?" Like it's
Just
ridiculous.
living the dream. It's amazing.
Exactly. Living that 80s decadent lifestyle.
Right? Who
Absolutely.
wouldn't want to go back to the 80s? It's great.
Yeah. I think that's, watching those movies is kind of like it's a little bit of a time machine, it's like stepping back in that era. Is that something that like, because I know with what you guys do at the Rad Pack and everything, there is a celebration of nostalgia, right? Is that, do movies, is it just movies that does that for you? Is it music or, how do you is that something that like when you need a healthy break or something you just escape into a movie or an album that takes you back to that more simple time?
Yeah, that's usually what we do. Movies
Or
and
you
music.
Yeah, or you just kick it with Garrett, just hang out with him. He'll bring you back no matter what, right?
Yeah, he's definitely the most nostalgic out of all of us.
He's like, you ever remember that time?
It's like he's still living there.
Well, and you know what? Like I think it's nice. Like I do love that positivity. Because I'm one of those people where I can let a little negative thing get in my head and sort of like ruin my mood or whatever. And it's a good reminder of like, hey, you don't have to be like that.
Mhm.
Like that's also a choice for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's wild. I think about like, because I was born in 82, but I have like 4 older siblings. So I feel like I absorbed a lot of the mid 80s culture and stuff that maybe I wouldn't have, if I were like an only child or something. So I feel sort of lucky that I remember a lot of that time. But it is wild to think. Do you play like old school video games or anything like that? Did you ever grow up playing video games?
No, I wasn't a gamer. My brother was a gamer, but I wasn't really. I mean,
Because
I tried and then I was terrible at it and then I'd get mad.
yeah, I'm kind of bad at it too, but it's just like it's another thing that takes me back. And I just remember like at the time when it was like, oh, we can actually play video games that look like the arcade at home. And now, here we are just like 30 years later or something. And it's so wild to see like where video games have gone. And I don't even understand them anymore. So it's
Yeah.
just interesting to take a look back and see just how exponentially everything just advanced so quickly. Now you are a big physical media collector, yes? I see a whole bunch behind
I
you.
mean, you could say that. I
What
don't
is it?
have like the biggest collection ever, no, but I do collect movies.
Is there something like when you're looking for something new? Are you kind of franchise specific? Or are you looking for, is there a certain like boutique label you really like? Are you going after the VHSs? Like what are you usually on the hunt for?
It kinda ebbs and flows a little bit. I do find myself hunting more for VHSs lately for some reason. Probably going back to that nostalgia thing we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier. Plus, I found one of those really groovy thrift stores, like a little hidden gem in my area. It's not hella close. It's like about an hour away. But when I can get there, they have some like really groovy horror VHSs. So that's
Nice.
been really fun because it seems like every time I go there, they have something cool.
And you've got a setup to watch your VHS?
Yeah, I have a little CRT TV. I'm watching a VHS right now. It's like right there.
What's on the tube?
I'm watching End of Days,
Okay.
that
Yeah, I
Arnold
saw that.
Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater. Gabriel Byrne's in that one, I think, too. He plays the devil, right?
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
watching that right now. I thought that was a little, I don't know, appropriate for this stream. Try
Yeah,
and
that's
match my VHSs for my streams.
nice. I think I remember there's like a scene in, they do that classic, like, oh, here's the broken guy that like doesn't take care of himself. And of course it's Arnold. He's like completely jacked, but he makes himself some like disgusting drink for breakfast in the morning or something. I'm trying to remember what it is, but now I'm getting it like mixed up with Loaded Weapon 1, where he does like all whiskey and a squirt of chocolate syrup, but it's like not too far off.
Yeah, I don't know. I missed that part.
Rewind. It's okay.
Yeah,
No.
okay. Hold on. Let me get my remote. I just saw the part where he was like holding the gun to his head, and I was like,
oh my goodness. Yeah, that movie is pretty intense for sure. I remember
there's like a baby at the beginning where they have like blood and they're like sticking it in the baby's mouth, and it's like it's like,
man, they went hard. Yeah.
It's like, what satanic, right? It's like a cult or whatever, and then at the end, it's like,
sounds like the beginning of The Curse of Michael Myers, or a scene from The Witch or something like that. Right. So, are there any, like, as far as, would you consider yourself like, is horror something that's like a big part of your movie diet, like your film diet?
Yeah. I would say that's the majority of my diet.
And so what's the like the standout that you've seen so far? Because I mean, I keep on hearing all this talk like about The Substance, and I really got to go check it out. Have you seen that one?
I'm a little upset about that, to be honest, because had I known that movie was going to be so wild, I would have made it a point to go see it. But I kept seeing like the snippets on Instagram, and I was like, I don't know. It didn't make it look all that great, right? Like you were kind of talking about teaser trailers, and if it doesn't look that great, you don't like bother with it. That's kind of what it was. It was just like, it was a lot of Demi Moore's face like this and her being like, and I was like, that doesn't look fun. But now I'm hearing that it's like a super body horror gore fest, and I'm like,
yeah,
I should have went and saw that. Why did I not do that?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen people that are saying it's the best horror movie of the year, and I don't think I saw a trailer for it until like, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago or something. Like, and it looked kind of had like a dark comedy sort of vibe, like Dennis Quaid like stuffing his face at lunch or whatever, like talking to her about it. To me, it just had this sort of like American Psycho kind of feel. Like, is this supposed to be funny, but in like a dark kind of way?
See, I didn't even know Dennis Quaid was in it. Had I known that, I definitely would have went and saw it because I love him.
Yeah, I think he's like the guy sort of like pushing the drug, or he's sort of like, hey, this is how you can get your career back, is you can like do this thing that will, essentially make you young again. So
I did hear there's a lot of nudity in it. If that entices anybody.
So everyone that's been complaining that there's not enough nudity in horror, it's okay. The Substance is out there. Yeah. The Substance, maybe Terrifier 3. We'll see what they do. I don't know. I don't think there's any nudity in Terrifier 2.
The Terrifier movies, they kind of roll with cutting the nudity off. So I don't know.
Yeah. Literally. I mean, right?
Like literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how much nudity you're gonna get at Terrifier 3.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's one of those things like, are you looking for, like, are you gonna go check out Terrifier 3 in the theater?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go see that one for sure.
Yeah. I'm excited for that one because I hadn't seen the other two, or at least Terrifier 2 in the theater. I actually just watched them like this summer. So I'm relatively new to it, and Terrifier 3, I saw like the teaser trailer from way back when, but I haven't seen any of the newer stuff they've put out. So yeah, I saw the one where it's just like they're playing the Christmas song and it just looks like Santa's putting down, presents or whatever. So this is like, I don't know when it came out, like 7 or 8 months ago.
The first one where people like freaked out because they're like, oh my God, he's like gonna kill the little girl. Like Damien Leone took it too far.
I know. I love, like, there's nothing funnier than when like the horror people that like Terrifier are like, well, now it's just too much. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Like, how could it be too like at this point, I fully expect like that he would try to push it every single time, you know?
Right? Like, this is what you wanted. He gave
Exactly.
you what you wanted. Shut up.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, even though I would say maybe Terrifier 2, I don't know. I feel like Terrifier, the first Terrifier is the one that pushes it the most because there's no story. So at least in Terrifier 2, if they up the gore ante, like you're at least you're getting like real characters, and it's not just like the first movie was just like a bunch of skits, kind of just like people that bump into art and then get killed by art. You know, it's like that's it. And so I guess I just figured, yeah, with Terrifier 3, it's like all bets are off, you know? I mean, that's kind of what you're going in there for, right?
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
listening to metal music and getting upset at all the solos. It's like, well, you listen to metal. Like, what are you doing? You love the solos. Like, that's what makes the genre. And really my only complaint is the time, the runtime, you know. That's my only complaint when it comes to Terrifier 2. It's just like
Yeah,
make it
because it's
shorter.
hella long. I don't It's not
Yeah.
gonna be shorter. There's no way it's gonna be shorter. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
I
longer,
think
right? It's gonna be 3
I
hours.
think Terrifier 3 is gonna be, like, just over 2 hours, so a little bit shorter than Terrifier 2, but not that much.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Um, Now you're a big, Freddy fan. Are you, you know, due to the personality, I think was a big part of it for sure. Are you a Chucky gal as well with all of his, quippiness?
Yes, I was a big Chucky girl too because he's hella funny as well.
Yeah. Which one is your favorite in the series?
I was a big fan of number 2.
Yeah, number 2 is
The
dope.
Doll Factory was
Oh,
terrifying,
yeah.
and, yeah. I felt like the doll itself was the scariest in that one. There was, like, a certain scene where, Andy, like, throws him and he gets up and his face and he's, like, running at him was, like, super scary.
Yeah, they seem to, like, really dial it in with, like, you know, in part 2, it's like his humor and the horror factor are, like, really I think that's probably the best they got it because
Yeah.
it's like in the first movie, he does things that are sort of, like, funny in a way, but they're not, like, "Ha ha" funny necessarily, but in the second one, he's, like, throwing out, like, one-liners, you know? He's just having a blast.
Yeah.
I think like killing the guy in the car, like strangling the guy from who when I saw have you seen Talladega Nights?
No.
It's the Will Ferrell
Is
movie
that
where
the
he's
Will
the race
Ferrell
car
movie?
driver.
I
Yeah.
know of it, but I don't know that I've seen it.
And so the guy that gets like the assistant guy that gets killed in the car in Child's Play 2 is like the son of the guy that Will Ferrell drives for. And that's all I could think of the whole time I'm watching Talladega Nights. I'm like, that guy's in Child's Play too. It's just like totally distracting. I'm like, I feel like I haven't seen him since 1991, and then now he's popping up in Talladega Nights. Like, where's this guy been?
He's
Um,
been dead this whole time.
exactly. He's been just hanging out in that car. Yeah, that whole scene, the whole setup at the end in the doll factory is something else.
Oh,
Like
it's
that is,
fantastic. It's absolutely
yeah.
fantastic. And Chucky 2 is another one where it's like Brad Dourif is the only one that can voice that doll. I will accept
Mhm.
nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah, the remake. What do you think of that?
Well, so the remake, I'm like, I don't hate it quite as much, but it also I kind of feel like it didn't need to be a Child's Play movie either. Like they could have changed
Mhm.
the doll and made it something else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's kind of the vibe that I got because I finally went back and watched the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, this could have it's like they wanted to do something that was more modern, and they probably just should have leaned into that a little bit more. Probably I haven't seen Megan yet, but I would imagine Megan kind of, you know,
Yeah.
obviously goes full bore because they don't have to use the name Child's Play. But yeah, I thought it was odd that they were like, are they trying to make me sort of feel sorry for the doll, or that the doll is like misunderstanding what people want from it? Like, so I was just sort of like, I don't understand. Like this thing's like this evil creature that like kills the cat and all this stuff. And I'm just like, am I supposed to feel bad for Chucky? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know. They changed the story enough that I was like, "Man, they coulda just switched the doll out. This could have been a
Mhm.
different movie. They could have named it something else, and it would have been fine." Like, it didn't have to be a
Yeah.
Child's Play movie. Like, it just seemed at that point, it was like, "Okay, it's a cash grab, whatever."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're seeing those cash grabs for sure.
Mhm.
I even think like I don't know, maybe I'll get in trouble in the chat for saying this, but the Radio Silence Scream movies, when number 5 called the other sequels lazy cash grabs, I was like, watch yourself now. And like cuz like I thought 5 was okay, but then part 6 I was like, "Oh, you're doing the things that you ripped everyone apart in part 5 and now Gail's still living through part 6 even though you probably should have taken care of her." Yeah, I don't know. Just one of those things. And another great like, a horror franchise with an interesting killer. I mean, a copycat every single time, but definitely a killer with personality.
Mhm.
Um I'm looking forward to I hope they can bring it back with part 7 because I'm a bit like I love, all of Wes's movies, especially the fourth one, like it's probably my favorite sequel out of all of them. But there's something about the way Wes and Kevin work together that I think is a really difficult like recipe to just sort of come up with.
Mhm.
I hope they can bring it back. They'll bring Nev back, get the whole team together. Maybe Nev will, finally ride off into the sunset and we'll get the conclusion that we all have been deserving of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kinda just hope they just do the fan service thing. I kinda just hope they give everybody what they want and then call it a day on the franchise.
Mhm. Well,
I mean, that sounds shitty, but we're just gonna get bad sequels after this, I feel like. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
It is tough too because it's like I think the way we are with these IPs, I mean, you have a very refreshing viewpoint of A Nightmare on Elm Street where you're just like, no, I'm good. Like I like it. That is like most horror
This
fans
is
are on
all
the
I
total.
need.
Yeah, all the other horror fans are like tipping the scales on the other side where it's like, we need more. Like, you know, make Bill Skarsgård every character ever. Mike Flanagan needs to direct everything. That's
Well, I mean, hold up. I didn't know that that was an option though. I mean, if
you,
if we're bringing Bill Skarsgård in, we can do that. I mean, I'm
okay.
happy with that. Let's do
He's
that.
he's young enough. I think that's the key. I think every time somebody brings up another actor, they're just too old to actually play Freddy for like a meaningful run. But what?
Mhm.
Bill's probably in his early 30s. I don't even know.
It
Something like
doesn't
that.
even matter.
It doesn't even matter. In fact, I've totally shut off. I'm putting a totally different VHS tape on now, and no, you can't know what it
Now that
is.
we're talking about this, excuse me.
Yeah. Excuse me. Where's my NC-17 section? Okay.
It's over there. I know exactly where it's at. Don't you even kid. Just
And
kidding.
so, and you had a fun time with the new Crow movie.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's like the best movie ever. It has its issues. It's not gonna
Mhm.
be for I mean, it's obviously not for everyone, but the thing about that movie is people are just not willing to give it a chance. It was like
Mm.
that movie was getting bad reviews before it even came out in theaters, which I was like,
Yeah.
"How is this even possible? How is it possible that people are hating this movie and they're not even seeing it?" People were giving it bad reviews and refusing to watch it. It was like,
Sure.
this is bonkers to me. Like that this
Mhm.
movie's never gonna make it, and it's because people aren't willing to give it a chance. So that was just upsetting to me, you know?
Yeah, I think that's one of the bummer things about, I mean, I love that everyone has a voice, and people can, whether it's, tweeting something or jumping on YouTube, it is like I love that people can express themselves. But I think like the trouble is like if you end up believing everything that you see or you give it too much credence, then people can like deflate they can either deflate you before you watch something or they can raise your expectations so high that there's no way that like anything could ever satisfy. We're in this weird kind of area. Because yeah, I saw when I watched the first trailer for the Crow movie, I was like, well, this looks really fun. I mean, it looks like it's for a more modern era. So
Mhm.
it doesn't look like the Crow that I was used to seeing from the original film, but I'm like, I think that's okay. I mean, it's like a lot of times people talk shit about reboots or remakes. But I'm like, well, that's what we've been doing in comic books forever, and
Mm.
that's what, the Crow, originated as, a graphic novel. So yeah, it's pretty disappointing. And then on the flip side, yeah, people can, say Abigail is the best movie ever. And then by the time I see it, I'm like, well, that was okay. Like,
Yeah. Well, I
like
think
how
their biggest mistake was they called it The Crow, and, they didn't just make it a sequel. They could have
Mhm.
easily made it a sequel. They changed the story enough that it could have just fallen in line to be a very nice sequel. It would have been better than some of the other ones, and it wouldn't have been the worst movie, but
Mhm.
it has this dark shadow over it that it's trying to be better than the OG movie, and that's what pissed people off, you know?
Sure. Yeah, and even if they just like didn't name him Eric, and I don't think
Yeah.
they don't call it's not technically Eric Draven, is that right? They don't ever use the last name?
See, I heard somebody say that, but I mean, I only saw it the one time, so I can't exactly remember if they used the last name or not. I'd
Mhm.
I'd have to watch it again to know for sure, but I I mean, his name is Eric, that's all I know, but
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like people were just so like, how could you do that to Brandon Lee's legacy? And it's just like, all right, well, pump the brakes a little bit. Like, not saying that Brandon wasn't great, but it doesn't mean that that character needs to be taken off the table like for all time. Like
yeah.
that's a pretty big thing to do.
Well,
And
exactly.
especially, yeah.
Especially
And
since this comic was written by somebody else based on their true life experience, you know what I mean? Like, this
mhm,
comic book was written by James O'Barr based on his life experience. Like, this was a true story about something that happened to him of a lover of his, you know what I mean?
mhm,
And now,
mhm.
like, they're taking this story and, and Brandon Lee played the character, and unfortunately, the accident that happened with him, and like you're saying, like, don't take the character off the table because of what happened to Brandon Lee. This is not his story. It's James O'Barr's
Yeah.
story, you know?
Mhm. Exactly. I mean, it would be like saying that no one could ever play the Joker again after Heath Ledger passing away. And it's like, I mean, if the character has so much potential, like why would you want to, remove that from the zeitgeist or even allowing people to give different interpretations of
Mhm.
characters? I think that's an important thing too about, like literature. And I think, movies are just an extension of literature, right? So it is cool to sort of see that, those different interpretations. And if the whole point of the Crow story is supposed to be like that, the spirit of the Crow recognizes that this injustice was done and then imbues the person with the powers to go get their revenge, then it could be almost like the Book of the Dead from Evil Dead, where it just like pops up in random parts throughout history. Like you could do a Crow movie that takes place in the 1600s. Like, F
Well,
it,
now
right?
there's an idea.
There we go. All right.
You could, and you know what? They could have done a Lady Crow too. I honestly think, what was it? The second Crow where it was like the father and the son or whatever?
Hmm.
I feel like that should have been a mother and a son. I feel like that story would have been so much better if it was a mother and a child. I honestly
Hmm.
do, and they should have done that. But it's funny that you bring up the Joker because people were comparing Skarsgård's Crow to Leto's Joker. Did you
Oh
see
yeah,
that?
with just the tattoos
Because
and
of the
all that kind of
tattoos
stuff.
and the
Yeah.
makeup and the hair
Yeah.
and all of the things, like, they were comparing those 2, and I mean, honestly, it was a decent comparison, but I was actually intrigued by Jared Leto's Joker. I kinda wanted to see where that story would have gone had they allowed it,
It's
but
well,
they
and
didn't.
it's weird because that, I'm glad that he popped up as the Joker in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Because I feel like what we got from him in Suicide Squad was so like he has nothing to do with the story. Like if you take the Joker out of Suicide Squad, it doesn't change anything, which I thought was sort of a huge miss. I'm like, man, the Joker should have been like the linchpin for something that either the Suicide Squad needed or just something, but he just sort of pops up to be like, hey, I'm weird and I'm zany, like, and then I'm
Yeah.
out,
Well, I think that they recorded so much more of the Joker in that movie, and then they cut it all out for some reason, I think is what I heard about that.
There was an animated Suicide Squad film where it was something like they had to go into this. It was either like a prison or go into, it was almost like that Dread movie that came out with Carl Urban, where it's like like a city that's within like a building. And it was like the Joker joined the Suicide Squad because he was like the only one that knew how to find whatever the MacGuffin was. And I was like, oh, that could have been a cool twist. Like that they basically have to go like kidnap the Joker and make him like do their bidding or something like that. But yeah, it just seemed like kind of a miss.
Mm.
Especially because it seemed like Leto had a lot to bring to the character. Now, whether or not what he brought to the character is your taste, that's one thing. But it definitely seems like he was having a good time,
Yeah,
with the performance.
I think he really liked that character, and I thought that he was gonna get his own movie. I thought that they were gonna show, him and Harley Quinn meeting, that, like, story.
Mm,
I thought, but I could be wrong.
yeah. Well, and that's something that maybe they were like talked about. And then when the movie
Mhm.
came out and didn't do so well, they're like, all right, well, we're just
Mm,
gonna
never
DC
mind
gets
then.
really antsy. It seems like until they hired James Gunn, they were just like, well, we'll try something, but if it doesn't work like right away, we're just gonna bail on it.
Yeah.
Did you see the Snyder cut of Justice League?
I didn't, no.
So it's really interesting because I mean it's really long, but they kind of break it
That's
up in
kind of
like,
why.
well, I love your laugh, Mel. It's like top
Oh,
notch, top 5 laughs of all time.
no.
It's great.
No.
No, for reals. I'm not, no bullshit. Sometimes my tone, I don't know how to say things the right way, but seriously, top 5, love it. They break it up into they break it up into chapters. So if you're thinking to yourself, maybe I don't want to watch a 3.5-hour movie today. Maybe I'm not ready for Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
You can break it up into chapters. It is really cool because it totally gives you like different storylines for each character. And there's this, I think they call it like a nightmare scene where you go into like this alternate future where Superman has turned bad because Lois was killed. I think they hint at it in the original
Oh.
Justice League, but they show like the group of who is in the Justice League at that point. And what's really interesting is Jared Leto's Joker is there, but he's got yellow gloves on and he's like calling Batman Bruce and all this stuff. And I started thinking the wheels started turning in my head. And I'm like, that's supposed to be like Jason Todd. That's supposed to be like Robin that turned into the Joker because they had that storyline in the comics. And I was like, that would be a really interesting sort of
Oh.
spin because he had the same gloves where I'm like, something's going on. And the chemistry between Affleck and Leto was really, really good. It's a relatively short scene, but that was the scene where I was like, man, I would like to see that version of the Joker. I mean, I'll take all the Joker you got.
Yeah.
I thought the Joaquin Phoenix Joker was amazing and maybe one of the most different comic book movies I've ever seen.
Mhm.
You know. And speaking of movies that are getting trashed before they're even released, the sequel's getting trashed for
Oh, the
like the last
Joker?
2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, everyone's like, it's almost like they're purposely making a bad movie. And I'm like,
Yeah, I've been seeing stuff about that, but they're really promoting it hard too.
yeah, I'm like, it can't be that bad, right? I mean,
It's probably not, it'll probably be fine, and people will just hate on it for no reason.
I'll be
'Cause
yeah.
that's the theme of this year, I guess.
Well, and I mean, it even goes back, right? It's almost like we're, you know, nuance is sort of like pushed away where people are like, no, 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 you either love something or hate something. Like, we're not going to have a discussion about it. Because, it seems like it's almost like movies have gotten that way to where it's almost like politics, where it's like, no, you can't take some of it and then criticize some of it. Like, it's either all or nothing. Cause, as a big Halloween fan, like, I really liked Halloween Ends a lot. I totally understand like the things that don't work for people, But that movie is one of those movies that's kind of a coin flip, like, you know, really divisive kind of film. And I think The Crow is sort of getting that same vibe. In fact, Lee from Drum Dums was saying, he was like, I think this new Crow movie is like Halloween Ends, where he's like, I can't stop thinking about it. And I think it's like one of the best movies I've seen in a really, really long time.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm guessing you're not a Halloween Ends fan.
I mean, I saw the movie in theater, and then I guess I didn't really understand it, and I don't think that I really liked it. Yeah.
Fair enough. It's definitely a movie. I think it is one of those movies that benefits from multiple viewings, but I also agree with the idea that, like, you know, maybe you shouldn't have to watch a movie more than once to get it. You
Yeah,
know, like
I didn't get it. I didn't understand what they were going for with it.
they were like,
You
fuck
know?
it, COVID ruined this whole thing. We don't know what to do. Let's bring in a copycat killer. I don't
Yeah,
know.
let's just do this. But then they just like up and well, I don't want to like is it
Oh,
spoil? I don't
whatever.
know,
Came
whatever.
out in
And then
20.
they did what they
Yeah,
did at the end, and I was just like,
sure. It's
all
yeah, it
that?
does seem
Oh,
yeah,
we went through all of this?
yeah.
And then that's what you did? What?
I know.
I'm so
I'm sitting.
upset.
I was like heartbroken. I'm like, Corey just stabbed himself in the neck and then Michael chokes him out. I was like, I actually
I
feel
know.
bad for this guy.
I know. At the end, I was like,
And, and you know, all they had to do really to make it all up, Mel, is all they had to do is at the end, after Michael goes through the grinder and they're like showing stuff, they just cut back to Laurie's house and it's completely dark and Corey's not there on the ground anymore. That's all they
yes,
had to do is just show
perfect.
that. And then whatever he did to himself, stabbing, choking, whatever entity was in Michael is now in Corey, keeping him alive in perpetuity, you know, until he passes it on to somebody else. That's all they needed to
See, I
do.
love that. I would have accepted
So
that. That would have been fine. That would have been
yeah,
perfect. He was just that couldn't it couldn't end that way. It just couldn't end that way. They just
it does
needed to
seem
not do that.
well, and then it's really weird too, because it's like David Gordon Green did his trilogy, right? So he's got his 3 movies, but technically the first movie, 2018, is a sequel to the original Halloween.
Right.
So in this weird way, you have 4 movies where the end of the trilogy is actually Halloween Kills. That's like kind of how you can look at it, and then you can look at Halloween Ends as the first movie after that. So even, and it doesn't even make sense as I'm talking it out, but in the store, as far as the story goes, it sort of does make sense in that way. But yeah, I totally this is exactly why people have a problem with Halloween Ends. And it's exactly why I try to be fair about the things that I even love. Like if I love a movie or an album or whatever it is, it's like, well, I can at least be fair about it. Like I get why people don't like it. Like you wanted
Yeah.
another Michael Myers movie that went out with like a giant bang, and we kind of got that in Halloween Kills, and then they didn't really up the ante, you know, from there. So
Mhm.
yeah, what can you do? We do have a super chat from Antonis Andriotis that I want to pop up here. Antonis, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Sorry it took so long for me to get to it. Sometimes when I get yapping, you know how it is, Antonis. You're in the chat enough. I just can't stop. He says, if Art kills a little girl in Terrifier 3, do you think he will kill a baby in Terrifier 4? I love that Mel just laughs at it. I don't know. I think that, so I don't know if Art would kill a baby, because I think he does. I think Art kills like for like the joy and the entertainment of it. And I think the entertainment he gets is seeing the person go through like the horror of getting killed by him. So I think like a child being afraid is sort of like what kind of gets him off in a way. But a baby is just a baby, right? So I don't think he would kill a baby, but I mean, it's Art the Clown, so what can you
Yeah.
do?
I don't think he kills that little girl in 3 either.
You think they're gonna do a little
I think
bait
that
and switch on that?
yeah, I definitely 100%. If I had to theorize, I think that's a flashback.
Okay, gotcha. Do you think the whole movie is gonna take place during Christmas?
That I don't know.
Because
Maybe.
it is weird how it all sort of like, I didn't catch this until the second time I saw it, that when he's like putting together his tools and everything, and the little girl is the little clown girl is watching the TV, that's the intro. That's the first scene from the first Terrifier movie. I didn't even put that together. I was like, oh, so those movies are sort of intertwined. Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 2 are happening on the same Halloween night. Like, and I
Are
just didn't.
they?
I think
I
so.
was kind of wondering about that because when you watch Terrifier 1, it has like absolutely nothing to do with Terrifier 2, but then somehow Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3 are going to have a continuous story.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I guess
because
it would make sense that they're going to try and bring them all together.
yeah. And I'm interested to see like how they deal with because it seems like they're going to expand on the lore a little bit. And they had
Mhm.
mentioned something in part 2 about how like, Sienna's costume is based on her dad's drawings and everything.
Right.
And then I'm thinking, I'm like, so did Sienna's dad have something to do with like creating art? Is there some sort of weird magical thing with like, was he involved in some sort of, dark magic and the things that he drew or his
Well, there's
creations like
definitely
came to life?
something going on right there, right? And there's something
Yeah.
weird about his death too, because they like explain it where he's like wildly driving out in the middle of nowhere and then he wrecks into some kind of electrical thing and he like blows up or
Mm.
something. Like, that's wild, right?
Yeah. Do you think it's gonna be? Are they gonna weave that back all the way back to like the All Hallows Eve thing, or do you think it's something as like on the nose as like the dad's soul is basically trapped inside Art's demonic body or something
If
like
they
that?
can weave this all the way back to All Hallows Eve, that would be impressive, and I would be here for it
All right.
100%. But the dad he's gotta pop up somehow. I mean, he's like the basis of the story for Terrifier 2.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they do. And then, yeah, I mean, to sort of piggyback on Antonis's question, just, what Terrifier 4 is going to bring. And also, like, how long do you think they're going to keep on doing these movies? You know?
Probably as long as they can, like, keep a story going and keep an audience interested. I
Mhm.
personally I don't know. If they can keep pushing the gore because, I mean, eventually he's gotta be gored out, you know what I mean? You can only go so
Yeah.
far, right? And that's kind of like Art the Clown's thing is, like,
Yeah.
he murders people in a very specific and gory way, and you can only do that to a certain point where it's not, like, you know, extreme enough or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. But also, I was kinda wondering too if the little girl in the trailer isn't Sienna,
Oh,
you know?
gotcha. Okay.
That's just another
Oh,
theory,
shit. Okay. So maybe they
right?
flash back to Christmas. Maybe that's when everything goes down with the dad or something like that.
Right? Because they never said, like, how old
Huh.
she was, did they?
Yeah. No, I don't think we ever get any inkling like how long he's been gone. I can't remember that movie's like 2 hours and 18 minutes long. So maybe they said something,
Yeah, maybe they did, I don't know.
but I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think they really like give it away. I mean, because what her brother is probably like supposed to be just what 3 or 4 years younger than her, something like that, right?
Yeah,
And so, I mean, I guess the dad could be technically he could have been gone for a really long time, you know?
yeah, I don't
He
know.
could have been. So, yeah. It'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see what they do there. Yeah, and Antonis with the question of the night. I do have a couple other questions for you that are from our let's see here, from our audience, from the channel members here on the Davey Deathray channel. So let's see here. Raymond Malaber posted a question for you in our channel member post. Says, is there a movie that you hated when you first saw it, but after rewatching, you actually like it now?
Hmm, I'm sure there's a lot of movies like that. I can't really think of one right off the top of my head.
It's the Monster Squad. Say the Monster Squad.
The monsters.
Bringing it on back.
We're coming full circle. Let me think about that one.
Are you the kind of person though that you would give something a chance? I mean, even if you hated it, you would rewatch it again. Maybe you have a friend that's like, Mel, you gotta give this one's so good. Like, what did you miss the first time?
If I absolutely hated it, no, probably not. But if it's a movie that I was like on the fence about, yeah, I would give it another shot. But
Nice. What about anything? How about the reverse of that? Was there ever a movie you saw where you're like, that was pretty cool, and then the next time you saw it, you're like, oh, it was okay, and then the third time you watch it, you're like, the fuck is with this movie?
I'm actually experiencing a couple of childhood movies like that as of recently. So the Rad Pack has a live show on Friday, and we're talking about Fred Savage. So I've been going back and rewatching some of his movies, and The Boy Who Could Fly was a movie that I used to love when I was a kid, right? I used to watch it all the time. I rewatched that movie the other night, and oh my God, it was a trudge to get through. It was so boring and it was so sad, and
Yeah.
it was rough to get through.
Mhm.
I have a train going by, just FYI.
Oh, it's lovely. I love it's like music to my ears.
It wouldn't be a stream with Mel if you didn't get a train.
I think we did. There was one that we were doing. I think it was when we did movie punks versus rad dudes with Garrett and Cody and Foz and myself. And Cody Foz had like a big old, the train went like by, and he was like, this is the first time I've ever heard the train since moving into my new house. Like he had no idea, and it was right there. Yeah, The Boy Who Could Fly. I haven't seen that in a really long time. But yeah, I've done that too, where I go back and watch some movies from my childhood, and I'm like, this is so boring. Like, my parents were really nice about letting me watch this, because I would have been one of the way that I am, I'd be like, son, what are you doing? Like, you need to watch something else. Like, you're wasting your time. I thought, I was worried. I was like, oh God, please don't say Little Monsters, because I love Little Monsters.
No, I just watched Little Monsters last night, and it's still great. But like, not only was it boring, it was like, it was super sad.
Yeah,
It was
heavy
like
stuff.
heartbreaking sad. And the same thing happened to Drop Dead Fred. So I used to watch that movie all the time when I was a kid, and it was so funny to me. It was so funny to me. And then when Vinegar Syndrome dropped that new release of it, I picked it up and I watched it, and it's like, it's horrible. It's sad. It's like that poor woman is being like verbally and like psychologically abused by her mom and her husband. It's like a terrible movie. And that's the reason why she has this like invisible friend, is because that's her coping mechanism for life. It's like,
yeah,
this is not a good movie. It's adulthood is ruining my childhood movies.
It's wild because, yeah, it is like an examination of like, this is what happens when you have a psychological break to deal with stress and manipulation. You know, but I think that it's Rick Mayall, right, that played Fred.
Yeah,
that's the actor's name. I mean, his performance, like, that was one of those movies as a kid where I was like, this guy is just like, because I think I saw Drop Dead Fred even before like Jim Carrey had his big break. Unless I'm remembering it all backwards. But just how wild and energetic he was, and inappropriate.
He's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've watched that though, so I guess I haven't had to have the, oh my God, they're manipulating her, the whole time. And then she basically has to it comes down to one of those things where it's like she has to make a decision of whether or not to like sort of let him go forever and like be grown up.
Well,
Right?
it's kind of like at the end, she has to choose to be better. Like she finally lets go of everything that ails her, but that also means letting go of him. You know what I mean? And then once she lets go of him, she's like a whole better person. So it's technically a good thing, but then it's sad. But then there's like this weird point at the end where she like also kisses him, and it's like, Like they didn't have to do that. That was creepy and weird. But it's
Yeah.
like I think I just learned that like don't rewatch your childhood movies if you enjoyed them as a kid. Leave them there.
Yeah, there's one movie from my childhood, and I don't know if you have ever seen this one, but I am like frightened to go back to it. It is called The Peanut Butter Solution. Have you ever seen that
I have
Canadian
not, but I
movie?
think I bought it. Didn't like somebody just put that out?
It
Severin or
is it
Synapse or
is
something.
wild. That movie, like my brothers and I would watch that you know, growing up, and it was just so bizarre. And then I think I saw it like in my late teens. I worked at a record store in Juneau, and like every now, like we could just bring in a movie or something and be like, oh, cool, I can get this movie from my childhood. And watched it at that point and was just like, this is friggin' crazy. There's this like weird guy that is stealing children's hair so he can make like paintbrushes. There is this
Ew.
the whole peanut butter solution thing is like this kid gets so scared that he loses like all of his hair. So he mixes up this concoction and it's like too runny. So he's like, I'll use more peanut butter. It's the only solution. And then his hair starts growing like mad fast. It's just a weird, like fever dream, nightmarish. I don't know. I highly recommend it.
I'm pretty sure I bought it because I think Severin put it out. I'm pretty sure.
That's the cool thing about these boutique labels dropping just random movies sometimes where I'm like, oh, this is great, because there is a you know, a whole group of people here on social media that, you know, it's like a brand new or something gets released on 4K or Blu-ray for the very first time, and it's like people are going to go out and buy it just for, you know, the collecting aspect of it even. So I think that's you know, pretty damn cool that we're living in that era for sure. I wish I could keep up with everything. I really wish I could, but I can tune in to your channel. I can tune into Planet CHH, Frank's Media and Reviews. There's so much great content out there, so I can like live vicariously through you guys. It's like my physical media porn, as it were. You're like, oh yeah, that box set looks so good.
Oh,
Like,
it's so good.
oh my God, 7 discs, Dawn of the Dead. Oh,
that's exactly how it goes.
I would imagine that's what it feels like when you buy them. It's like it's got to be a rush, right?
It definitely is.
I like this from Garrett. I shut off Justice League after the first 20 minutes. The Joss Whedon one or the Zack Snyder?
I'm surprised he even gave it a 20-minute chance. I'm impressed.
I remember, like, I don't remember much about the Joss Whedon one. I just remember it looking like really slick, and Ben Affleck looked depressed the whole time. And then when I saw the Zack Snyder one, I was like, oh, that's why Ben Affleck was depressed, because this movie's so much better than the one they put in theaters. What's happening, Cody? Dropping in to say, don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button. Oh, yeah. I'm so far behind on the chat, you guys. I apologize. Mel and I are having a great time talking about weird Canadian movies from the 80s. Late Night with the Killer. Love it. D.A. Mac, absolutely no interest in Joker 2. Not even streaming? Yeah, I don't know. I get being picky about what you see in the theater. I mean, I can't see everything in the theater.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. But I will go see The Substance because I won a $50 Fandango gift card on Killjoy Jake's channel last week. I never win anything when it comes to raffles or anything like that, but there we go. Now I can go watch The Substance with my wife and see if she can make it through the whole thing.
That's amazing.
She's like, I brought her into horror a little bit, you know, they're like, she loves Scream and she really likes the Friday the 13th movies. But there's certain things, like even a movie like Thanksgiving, which I think she liked for the most part, but the opening scene during the whole Black Friday thing just like, you know, gave her
that was
heart palpitations, you know? And I was like, oh, really? That's interesting. I mean, I guess
gory stuff.
Yeah, the gory, and then I think just like the stuff that feels like it could happen in real life, I think is the, you know.
I mean,
but also
that stuff did used to happen in real life though. That like Black Friday type stuff.
Oh, yeah,
People getting trampled and
people are still terrible about it. It's awful. And now we have what, like Cyber Monday, Black Friday sales start, it seems like on Tuesday now. It's just like there's
Mhm.
no, and I have family friends that would seriously like come to Thanksgiving dinner over at my parents' house and like right away they're like gone because they're gonna go wait in line.
You go Black Friday shopping.
And I'm
Oh,
just
hi,
like,
guys.
damn. Like, what are you guys going to check out a Star Wars movie? No, we're just gonna wait in line to buy stuff. Ah, all right. Well
Nice.
played. And then let's see here. We've got another question from our channel members. We got Eli Cortez. Eli is the man. He sent me so many great things. He sent me the first 4 seasons of Tales from the Crypt on DVD. I've got
Oh,
actually
nice.
2 boxes that he sent me that we're going to be opening up here later on in the night. Eli is absolutely incredible.
Whoop, whoop.
He wants to know what movie first introduced you to the horror genre, and what are your 3 go-to horror movies that you can't stop watching?
So that's kind of that first one is a hard question because I don't know what movie per se. I was really young when I first started watching horror movies. My momster got me into horror movies, so uh I think like the first movie I remember seeing was A Deadly Friend. So maybe that one, I don't know. My mom used to tell me I used to run around the house saying BB, BB and acting like a robot. So maybe it was that one. I watch The Lost Boys a lot. I don't know if The Burbs count as a horror movie, but it's kind of horror adjacent. I watch that one a lot.
Yeah, I think for a kid, it's got that kind of spooky, uneasy feeling. The Burbs.
The Burbs, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like, I mean, I guess as an adult, maybe it's more of like a dark comedy kind of thing,
Yeah, I would say it's probably more of a dark comedy, but there's horror elements to it.
Mhm.
What would be a third one? That I watch all the time?
End of Days on VHS.
I mean, clearly, I watch End of Days on VHS all the time. I don't know. Maybe I'm like looking around. Like something
Yeah,
pop out at me. I have all
get
these
ins
movies
get
around
inspired.
me. I watch The Crow a lot. Does that count as a horror movie?
Why the heck
Stir of
not?
Echoes. I used to watch that one a
Ooh.
lot. That one was like a comfort movie of mine for a really long time.
Stir of it, man. I remember, yeah, that came out. I was in high school, rented it with some friends, and then like as soon as I could buy a copy from Blockbuster, like a couple months after it comes out, they just put a bunch of the copies in the little bin for like $4. That was a
Mhm.
movie that I watched like it felt like every other week or something like that. I love Stir of Echoes.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon is so cool in that movie.
He's so awesome, and then just some of the imagery is like really good. I do think like the mystery of it all is great, and I think it
Mhm.
just got so overshadowed by The Sixth Sense, unfortunately. But I think Stir of Echoes is I like it better than The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, Stir
Um,
of Echoes is great. It has that paranormal, scary horror to it. The Sixth Sense was okay, but it was like as soon as you figured out that ending, it was kind of like I don't know. I never felt like needed to watch it ever again. You know
yeah,
what I mean? But like
mhm,
Stir of Echoes, like I watched it all the time. I watched it over and over and over again. It's just a fun, cool movie and it's so rewatchable.
yeah, yeah, and it's like once he has that vision, it's like it just slowly starts kind of taking over his entire life. It becomes this obsession, and he's digs up his whole backyard and all that stuff. And I mean, I don't want to completely spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, guys. If you've not seen Stir of Echoes, check it out. But the moment where you sort of get the reveal of what really happened, and there's that moment between a couple of those characters. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now, and it's been a long time since I've seen the movie. I just remember it being such a powerful moment,
It's
and
super tense.
Yeah, it's just, man, what a friggin' movie. And yeah, I mean, Kevin Bacon, it's like the guy can do no wrong. And
Mhm.
I love that he just keeps on like tackling new stuff and keep on going back to horror and going to comedy and just all over the place, from him to do do Maxine and jump over to the Axel F, the Beverly Hills Cop movie, which he's fantastic in. Like, I just like that the guy. I love performers that continue to like stretch themselves and keep on doing new shit. And
He's
seems
great.
like,
He's all
yeah.
time.
Oh my God, please, can he just come back and do one more Tremors movie? Can we just get one Tremors legacy sequel?
I would love that.
Because I mean, that Tremors, it's incredible. I mean, that movie is the biggest love letter to all of those like Roger Corman, drive-in 50s, 60s creature features. A little hint of Jaws in there too, but it's like so tongue in cheek and so much damn fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the easiest, like I would say one of the most rewatchable movies for sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. You tell me.
You might be crazy, but you might be right too.
I might be. We got another super chat here, and then we will let Mel get a little bit of rest this evening. She's been putting in the good time and laughing her face off here, so she needs a little break there. But we got Happy Sanjo, our guy. Coy says, how many Terrifiers need to be successful for him to be iconic? Or do you agree with Dave that it's more about staying power? I think Pinhead is iconic, but most don't agree. Thoughts? Oh, so Coy, you're talking about Dave McCrae. Do you watch Dave's channel at all, Mel?
I don't.
Dave's great. I mean, he's a massive Halloween nerd. He's a professional voice actor, but he's also, I don't know if you're into Black Christmas, but he is the co-writer and co-director of those It's Me Billy fan films. That are like a follow-up to the Black Christmas movies. Dave's great. I've been watching him since like 2017. He's one of my faves. So yeah, I mean, there is a big conversation around like, what point is art iconic? I mean, I think he already is.
Yeah, I kind of think he already is too. But like, I think Pinhead is as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, Coy, I would say maybe like right when Terrifier 2 came out or a little bit after, you could sort of say, oh, I don't know if he's an icon yet. But I think we're at that point now where like when I go out to a horror convention, I see a shitload of Terrifier shirts and a lot of art, stuff everywhere. And now the third movie, I mean, the posters that have been coming out for the third movie are incredible. And there's so much hype that I think he's there now. And yeah, I think Pinhead, man, when I was a little kid walking through the video store, like he just stood out to me. He was one of those images that it's almost like the Dolls VHS cover. I can just picture the Hellraiser VHS cover. It just stands out in my mind, even though he's hardly in the movie. And maybe that's why some folks would say he's not iconic, but I think that leans even more into him being iconic, is he doesn't even have to be in the whole movie for you to associate the franchise like with that. So so yeah, I'm one of those. I may be an old timer, but I think art is iconic. I'm 42 and I think art is iconic.
Well, I know you have it.
Yeah, all us old cats are telling the young kids, oh no, he's not yet. But it's like, come on. Like by the time A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 came out, Freddy was iconic. And we're right there with Terrifier. So it's okay. We can let it go, guys. We can embrace the future. Well, hell yeah,
especially with all the merchandise and like Spirit Halloween and Party City.
Yeah.
Like, Party City.
I mean, I didn't even see the movies until this summer, really. But art freaked the hell out of me. Like anytime I saw his image pop up anywhere, I'm like, this guy is like from my nightmares. So not even having seen the movies, I felt like that image was stuck in my head. And if that's not iconic, I don't know what the hell is. So so yeah, that's it. We're gonna close the book on that one. And thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Coy. That is very sweet, guys. Coy has a channel that he just started, so you can go and check out Happy Sanjo. He's getting things going over there. We always talk about supporting one another and lifting one another up. So go throw Coy a sub and watch him continue to grow as a content creator. I think it's a really cool thing to be there at the beginning and see how that person develops their voice and just how everything goes. It's fun stuff. And yeah, Coy, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you. I just want to say what's up to Wade effing Wilson. Says always catching bits and pieces of live shows, but we'll always catch up later. Good to see you, Davey. Hope everyone has a fantastic stream. Thank you so much, Wade fucking Wilson. Well, shit. Mel, I've talked your ear off for about an hour and 15 minutes. I think we said 45, which is typical Davey. Just
It's fine.
I'm a mess and I bring everyone into the mess with me. But it's been great hanging out with you and great getting to chat with you and learn a little bit about, you know, what you look for in films. And now I know that whenever you're on a stream, you've got a VHS going. So I can always bug you about that the next time I catch you in a stream.
What I'm watching.
Exactly. At some point, and I know it's not VHS, but you got to check out the peanut butter solution.
Oh, I will. I'll let you know.
Look, there we go. Aaron Click's dropping the truth right there. And Eli says Severn put it out. All right, so there we go. So that's the one that Christian was talking about today. Okay, interesting. I saw that he said he'd watched the Craziest Kids movie. I had no idea. But yeah, it's absolutely insane. So you've got a Rad Pack live coming up here on Friday evening. Is that right?
We got a Rad Pack live stream coming up Friday and then a members only stream right after. Come hang out.
Hell yeah. What time does your does the For Everyone stream start?
That's a good question.
Oh, Mel.
Don't tell my manager. I think it's probably 8 or 9. Probably 8.
Eastern?
9 Eastern.
All right. 9 Eastern, Rad Pack live. You heard it here first or second, or I don't know. Maybe you heard it somewhere else first or second. And then what else do you have going on? You said you're going to do your, what did you call them? It's like your 15, like
my Halloween 13 witch list. I call it a witch list. It's a watch list, but I used to do a 31 days of Halloween, and then watching 31 movies was a lot. So then I decided to do 13.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's my Halloween 13.
Hell yeah. And even just having to talk about them after, it's like, oh geez, what am I going to say about this one? I thought about doing that where it's like each day I could do maybe like a short that's like a really quick review. Like I could digest that, but man, 31 entire, like, especially if you're trying to watch new movies.
Right.
Yeah,
I commend people who do the 31 days of Halloween. It's hard, and anyone who does it, that's amazing. You are awesome. I flipped it and I'm like, I will do 13. So you get Halloween 13.
There you go.
Even then, sometimes I don't get through all 13. But I try. I'm also doing a giveaway on my channel. So if you log on over there and watch my giveaway video, you have until tomorrow to enter. So go do that.
And you're giving away, is it one of those Pennywise?
It's
head there?
Yeah, one of those guys. One of the Pennywise popcorn buckets.
It is a popcorn bucket. Okay. Where do you put the popcorn? Do you have to like take part of the head off? How does that work?
Yeah.
It's in the back?
Yeah. So this is the bucket.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the Pennywise ones were actually really nice, but the popcorn goes here.
There you go. That's amazing. I love it. I've never seen like a functional, like, all right, we're gonna, because all the popcorn buckets, I'm like, how the hell do you get the popcorn in that?
Sometimes the head flips up this way. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Get to eat your popcorn out of Bill Skarsgård's head. Who wouldn't want to do that, right?
I know, right? But the Pennywise ones were really cool. They turned out really well. The detail is phenomenal. So I'm doing a giveaway. So y'all on over to my channel, and there's a video with all the details. You can enter to win one of those.
Don't miss out on that. Yeah, you guys can check out Mel's YouTube channel in the description below. So if you're watching now in the chat, or if you're watching after the fact, just open up that description. You can click on down there. Of course, any one of the mods, please feel free to drop the link. There we go. Eli dropped it over there. So you can check out Mel's channel right now and go give her a sub if you're not subbed already. I don't know what the heck you're doing. But do that. Take care of that. Win that popcorn bucket. Don't forget about the Rad Pack live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you become a channel member, you can hang out with them after. That's pretty dope. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mel. It's been awesome chatting with you. I wish you all the best on your 13 witch list. And
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. And I hope that Pennywise head goes to a good home. All right.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your night, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Take care. All right, everyone. How cool is Mel? Oh my goodness. Seriously, top 5 laugh that I've ever heard. Maybe it's the microphone just really puts that saturation on there. It just I don't know. It puts you in a good mood. There's just something about a good laugh. What can you say? And I'm so sorry, guys, so far behind on the chat because sometimes I just get so into the conversation. So maybe I do have a little bit of I try to separate my attention between the two, but I also want to keep the main focus there on the guests. So my apologies if I missed any questions or anything like that. But guys, moving forward, for the channel members, keep an eye out before the week before the late night episode. I will be making a post just for the channel members exclusively where you guys can drop your questions that you want the guest to ask that time. So that's just one of the perks I want to give to the channel members. If you're not a channel member and I see you ask a question in the chat and it looks like something that's like relevant and really good, like I may just grab it because I'm digging what I'm seeing. But I definitely want to give the, I want to have that Q&A section there with each guest. And I want to make sure that the channel members, have that nice little perk, especially as we sort of ramp up the other sort of membership only kind of content on here, which I definitely have to ramp up a little bit more. So yeah, man, what a fun hangout chatting with Mel. It's always cool to just, get to know somebody new, kind of get to know what makes them tick a little bit. And also just interact with somebody. Cause when you watch videos of people or you watch them on a live stream, hanging out with their buds, it's just sort of cool to, see what that vibe is like and, see where the conversation goes as you just keep on chatting. So, yeah, let's see and make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, boom. Star Court Food Court. I prefer John Cava over Art the Clown. I think I do too. And I'm not saying I don't think John Carver is more of an icon. I'm not trying to poo-poo or say that I just think he's absolutely better. But me personally, I think Thanksgiving is friggin' fantastic. I can't wait for the sequel next year. I do think the John Carver look is an amazing look, without them, like the pre-melted mask and then the melted mask, just a cool little switch off there. Like I really want to dress up as John Carver this year for Halloween. I usually dress as Michael Myers, but after seeing Thanksgiving last year, which just totally, I knew the movie looked fun from the trailer and I expected it was going to be a good time, but I got to see it at a press screening with Cecil from the Horror Show channel, and it just knocked my socks off. Like it gave me everything that I've wanted to see from a slasher since the original Scream. Like it to me, it checked all those boxes, and I do think it's the best original slasher I've seen since 1996's Scream. Yeah. Boom. That's it. I just said it. And guys, stick around. We got 30 people hanging out on the stream. I am going to open up a couple boxes from Eli Cortez, our guy, Eli. Provided that he's still here. You're still here, Eli. Okay, I think I can see that you're still there. That's great. Star Court Food Court says, I tried doing 31 movies in October. Bad idea. Even if I wasn't trying to do something for the channel, if I was just trying to watch 31 movies in a month, that would be really tough for me. Because I don't know. Because of real life, I guess. It would be a tough thing to fit all that in. But if YouTube were like the main gig, that's doable, right? Because then you just treat it like work. Maybe you knock off a couple movies in a day. I would imagine the folks that are releasing a video every day in October, they probably already started shooting those videos, right? So that's what I would imagine. Maybe I should do that next year. Might be kind of fun. We'll see. Jigsaw's question is chicken, turkey, chicken, or meatballs? Lol. I would take meatballs. Let's see here. Big Rod said I had to go to Home Depot today for work. They got some legit Halloween decor this year. Yeah, I think I saw our guy Matt Facci had posted a little short of him in Home Depot, and it looked pretty killer. Yeah. Let's see here. Raymond says, since I don't work, I watch like 31 movies every month. There you go, Raymond. I'd be right there with you, man. Sitting on the couch, eating some popcorn out of a Bill Skarsgård head. All right. Brendan Sanford with the football question. Brendan knows that I'm a big sports fan. Says, what did you think of the Redskins versus Bengals game on Monday? I think Daniels is getting better every game. I was very impressed with the way Jaden Daniels played. 21 of 23 with 2 thrown touchdowns, 1 touchdown ran in, and 0 turnovers. Yeah, Washington's looking really good. I thought the Bengals were going to win because, 0-3 is just so rare, especially for a team that has that much talent, and they're playing at home on a Monday night. So kudos to the Washington, whatever they're calling themselves, the Commanders. I call them the Redskins all the time too, Brendan. Football is one of those things where every week brings a totally new storyline, and you never know, your star player could get hurt in the very next game, and it's tough to ever like bank on anything. I'll give you my honest opinion about the team as a whole. I do think the defense still needs work. I think they're the only ones dragging their feet. The secondary needs to pick it up. We need to tighten up that defense. And, you shouldn't have to score 38 points to win a game. I mean, it's great when you can put up 38 points, but, I'd like to see the defense hold a team to, under 20, 17 or something like that would be great. So those are my thoughts. I feel bad for Bengals fans, but I'm super pumped for all of us Washington fans. Fun game. It was a really fun game, especially with the Bills game being a total blowout, Eli wants to know what's in the box. Star Court Food Court says, preach, Davey. Thanksgiving rules. Hell yeah. Pat says, I wish I had the time for 31 movies in a month. Pat, I'm right there with you. And Pat, I didn't get to say welcome because we were in the middle of the chat, chatting with Mel when you popped in, but great to see you hanging out with us here. I'm going to be hopping on over to Pat's channel here in October. We're going to be talking a little Halloween. Pat's got a really cool Halloween topic. So yeah, that'll be really cool. I love meeting new YouTubers, new content creators, and collaborating with people. And man, it's gotten pretty wild. Like, we did just hit like 1,000 subs, a week and a half ago, something like that. And it seems like every day or every other day I've had somebody reach out and be like, hey, do you want to do something? And it's really cool. It's really awesome. Appreciate you reaching out and getting that going, Pat. And of course, we'll have to find a little time for you to come on over to this channel as well. So yeah, that'll be great. And I'm also going to be hopping on over to Wolfman's Got Nards here in October. I know Barry had shared that on socials today. We're going to be doing it'll be my second time on Double Scoops with him. The very first time we talked about H2O, and, Barry's a huge H2O fan. I'm pretty lukewarm on it. So we kind of did our pros and cons and a little bit of a versus match or like a courtroom battle. And this time around, we're going to be talking about Halloween 4 because I know that movie gets so much love, but I think it's kind of overrated. And not to say that I don't like it. I like all the Halloween movies, honestly. Part five, kind of puts me to sleep. I'd probably even put part five behind Resurrection, possibly, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, part four, it's just one of those movies where maybe it doesn't resonate with me for reasons that I'll get into on Barry's channel here in a couple weeks. So yeah, that'll be fun. I just want to say what's up to Carbonite Dreams, one of our great channel members. Gonna say what's up to Koi again for dropping the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. I'm right there with you, Aaron. Too much adulting to watch 31 movies. I mean, if I wanted to sacrifice sleep, I certainly could. All right, let's see here. Georgia or Alabama on Saturday. I don't root for either team exclusively. I think it would be more interesting if Alabama actually won, now that they don't have Nick Saban, if they can take down Kirby Smart and the vaunted Georgia Bulldogs, who have won a couple championships here within recent memory. I think it would be a more intriguing storyline for Alabama to win this game and for Georgia to slip further back and have a tougher road through the college football playoff. Yeah, guys, should I just start my own football channel? That'd be kind of fun. Shout out to the Skins, but go Raiders. Fair enough, Big Rod. You guys whooped our butts in the Super Bowl back in the early 80s, so I can't hate on that for sure. Raymond was busy watching Josh Allen tear up the Jags. Yeah, and I know Jamie's like right there behind you, of course. No, it's got to be fun. I would love to, that's what I want to see out of my team, right? Out of Washington, is I would love to see them get to the point where it's a 47-10 victory, even if it's against a team that is now 0-3. It's like, man, 47-10 in the NFL, that's rare and that's tough. Every team is, the margin between a really bad team and a really good team is not very large in the NFL. That's the wild thing about it. It's that's why I love the sport so much. Who do you think is an overrated QB in the league? I think Justin Herbert. Yeah. Well, Herbert, it just keeps on getting hurt before he can really prove it. I don't think he's making the kinds of mistakes that Trevor Lawrence is showing. Trevor Lawrence is not really showing very much development in the NFL, which is troubling. But overrated, I mean, I guess I'd probably say, yeah, maybe somebody like Trevor Lawrence. Trying to think of somebody else, because I don't think like Dak is overrated, but I don't think he really shines in the brightest of lights. So I think that, the Cowboys just have that whole thing where they're really good in the regular season and then they can't get it done in the playoffs. And it's not all on Dak, but he's certainly a very large part of it for sure. The Halloween 4 mask just takes me out of it. Liana, oh, I'll get into it because I am the biggest Michael Myers mask snob. I absolutely am. Being honest, Raymond says, I like RZH2 more than H2O now. Oh my God, that is like hearing the gospel. I love it, Raymond. That is way too cool. I like it more than H2O as well. So son los mismos, as they say. Halloween 4 is a good mask away from being like my second favorite in the franchise. Yeah, and it's too bad because the mask for me is a huge part of it, right? Yeah. Michael Vanilla Ice Myers. Yeah, that mask is really cool, Jigsaw. You must have seen that video that Garrett had put out. That is such a cool mask. Like, I didn't even know that it existed until I watched his video, and now I feel like I need one. But at the same time, it's like this really rare thing. I'd probably have to like make one myself. So, and I'm not like skilled in that sort of way at all. Raymond says, Roll Tide. All right. DA Max says, Go Seahawks. Are you up there in the Pacific Northwest, DA? I'm interested to know. I've got family up there. I've been to a whole bunch of Seahawk games. Actually, I went to 2 Seahawk games when they played at UW while Quest Field or whatever it was called, CenturyLink at the time, was built. So I saw them play the Broncos. It was like 0-1. Saw them play the Broncos. And then that was a morning game or a early afternoon game. And then saw them play the Raiders on, I think it was Sunday night. And that was when Sean Alexander tore off that like 97-yard run, like right up the gut. I was like in the nosebleeds, but it was incredible. incredible to see that. And then I saw the Redskins play him a couple times. That was really fun too. Yeah, good stuff, man. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, DA, so just curious to know. Raymond says Dak Prescott is overrated. There, I said it. What I'm amazed at is I'm keeping an eye on the viewer count, and it hasn't gone down when we talk about football, which is amazing. Oh, Jamie, I'm so sorry to hear it. I feel like you're always fighting those darn migraines. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope you have a great night and you get some good rest and you wake up feeling better in the morning. Thank you so much for being an incredible Death Squad mod and just awesome part of this community. Thank you. All right. Have you seen Darkness Falls before? I have not seen Darkness Falls, but Eli says it's awesome and says creepy ass Tooth Fairy. That sounds like a damn good time. A-Dub says 49ers been a rough start this year. Injuries. Yeah, man, it's one of those things that every team deals with, right? At some point in the season. So I guess what you hope for as a Niners fan is you hope that when your guys come back, they don't get re-injured. And you hope that you want to in the NFL, and this is not a secret to anyone that follows football, you want to be hitting that like really nice stride towards the end of the season. Like the first 4 weeks, yeah, you don't want to go 0-4, but it's like the first 4 weeks, if you're 50-50 after that, as long as you can finish strong the last 4 weeks, you have a good middle, finish strong, get in the playoffs, and be, riding high at that point. That's really all you got to worry about. And, with the Niners, who knows, man? Maybe at the end of the season, we'll look back and the Vikings will just be world beaters, right? And then with the Rams, it's like sometimes divisional games can just sort of get away from you like that. You play those teams twice a year, sort of a coin flip. Like you could be a great team and lose to the worst team in your division. It's just, that's the psychological element of the divisional games for sure. I'm not too familiar with either band, Starcourt, but I feel like I'd lean towards Deftones over Chevelle. A little more moody, I think. But if I wanted something that was just like more straightforward, maybe I'm going Chevelle for that. I know it seems shallow, but my appreciation for H4 increased after I saw it on 4K. It's way more cinematic on 4K than it ever seemed before. Maybe I need to check that out because I've not yet seen it on 4K. I've just got my Blu-ray from the what was it, the Shout Factory box. Yeah. I appreciate it, Nicholas. Thank you so much. We won't talk about football the whole time. Saints fan here was on cloud nine and came back to earth. You know what? Eagles are good, man. I wouldn't even worry about it, right? Because your victories in the first 2 weeks were so dominant. Take care of business in your division. Don't let Kirk Cousins get on top of you in the standings. You already have one divisional win. That's a good thing. Who else you guys got in that division there? You've got Tampa Bay. Yeah. I think it's going to be between Tampa Bay and the Saints. And those could both be shootout games with Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr. That could just be wild. So it's going to come down to who's got the better defense, right? Those will be good ones for sure. Yeah, I think so too, Brendan. I think that I was shocked because Kate and I, we went to the Lions-Cardinals game on her birthday on Sunday. My wife turned 31 on Sunday, and we checked out the game. We went with a couple of our friends, Gary and Shauna, who got us amazing tickets, like right there it was like the 35-yard line, about 20 rows up. The crowd was standing like the whole time, and it was, man, there were like half of the people there were Lions fans. It was incredible. And as I'm following the other games on my phone, I'm seeing that the Niners are winning like 24-14. And then as we walk out of the game, I saw that the Rams came back and won it. And it just sort of blew my mind because, especially with the Niners having as many weapons as they have and having a great defense, I didn't think that the Rams would overcome that deficit, so pretty crazy. Let's see here. La Gargola is Starcourt's favorite Chevelle albums. All right, maybe I should check them out. Antonis says, Davey, what is a Halloween themed movie you watch on Halloween night as a kid? Well, by the time I was watching like horror movies, it was probably Halloween on Halloween night. I mean, I would go out trick-or-treating like as a kid. So right around that time of year, I was watching Halloween, Monster Squad, as I talked about earlier. With Mel. Monster Squad's a huge movie for me this time of year. especially. So I watched it a lot as a kid during spooky season. And I'd say it's the movie that like really puts me in the mood for spooky season. A-Dub says, anyone got any movies on the way they're looking forward to? Body Double Steelbook for me should be here on Monday. Well, I did get, and Eli, I don't know if you got yours. I got the Late Night with the Devil Owl edition. It came today. Now, I don't think I'm going to open that up tonight because I think I want to do a separate video for that. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. If you really want me to open that up tonight, we can certainly do that. But I do want to get to Eli's boxes that are I'm tapping on right here. Boong Pai, welcome to the chat. By Grabthar's Hammer, we shall be avenged. I love Galaxy Quest. That is such an awesome deep cut. RIP to the great, why can't I think of his name right now? It's like totally blanking me. Oh, it's just like me to say RIP to somebody and then forget their name. Oh my goodness. You guys in the chat are going to have to save my soul and then crucify me for not remembering here. I feel terrible right now. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Alan Rickman. Thank you, Foong. That is terrible. Now I have the nervous sweats because I just completely lost it in front of everyone in the chat. 28 people watching, and they're like, who the hell is this guy that can't remember Alan Rickman's name? It was right on the tip of my tongue, and then I kept on talking and forgot it. Classic. Let's see here. Brendan says, I remember going to see my grandparents' house on Halloween, and Halloween 4 was always playing on AMC. That's awesome. Eli has not gotten it yet. I thought it was going to be so much bigger than what it was, but I'm guessing they just put everything in a nice little, like, I thought it was going to come in like a collector's kind of box sort of thing. I don't know, but we'll see. I kind of peeked at it. I opened up I cut the tape off the box and kind of peeked, but I didn't like take anything apart. Aaron Click should be getting Long Legs 4K on Friday. Hell yeah. Liana just saw Late Night with the Devil this week, and wow, I just loved it. Yeah, Liana, I had a great time. I saw it at the theater with my wife, and it was so immersive and awesome. I think it was one of those movies, it like went to Shudder like 3 weeks later. So I think a lot of people didn't see it in the theater. They just waited and saw it on Shudder. But then for 3 weeks, they're hearing about how awesome it is. And I think it sort of, let people down a little bit, unfortunately. But I absolutely love Late Night with the Devil, of course. Yeah. Let's see here. We got Carbonite Dreams. Can't remember Alan Rickman. Unsubbed. That's right. Especially when I'm talking about the deep cut that is Galaxy Quest, Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Let's see here. Yeah. Carbonite knows what's up. Brendan says, what horror movie, new or old, would you recommend watching? Well, I always recommend that people watch The Changeling. If you've never seen that one, Brendan, it's really damn good. Love me The Changeling. I like slow burn, like haunted house kind of movies. It's one of my favorite subgenres of horror. So yeah, always recommend The Changeling. I'm trying to think. The Prowler. I love The Prowler from 1981. It's a little bit slow at times, but I think the kills are great. It's kind of got that My Bloody Valentine sort of feel with the revenge whodunit kind of thing. And then as far as like new, my wife and I watched a movie called The Rental from 2020. We watched that a couple weeks ago, and I really enjoyed that one. So if you haven't seen The Rental yet, directed by Dave Franco, starring who's that British guy that everyone loves so much? Dan Stevens, and then the guy that's in The Bear. I can never remember his name. I've been meaning to start The Bear. Kate watched the first 3 seasons, and she's waiting for me to catch up before she continues. But yeah, I thought The Rental was really fun as well. What is a horror movie I always have on replay? Oh man, like Friday the 13th Part 2. Feel like I watch that like 3 or 4 times a year. Yeah. It's not even my favorite in the franchise. It's like my 3rd favorite, but it's just so easy to watch, Starcourt says, checked out It Follows not too long ago. I dug it. That's on the list for me. I've never seen that one yet, and I keep on hearing just great things about it ever since it came out. So yeah. The Ritual is really good. Yeah, I just saw that a few weeks ago. The Ritual is a great slow burn. Watched it while out camping, which is the perfect setting to watch that one. Raymond did not like The Rental. All right, fair enough. Found it. I found that I was just like trying to figure it out for the whole time, and then I thought the way they sort of summed it up at the end, I was like, oh, it would be so interesting to like rewatch the movie after you know how it all shakes out. I think that's the fun thing about those movies that have some mystery to them, for sure. Also watched The Faculty for the first time earlier this year. So 90s, but I loved it. Yeah, very 90s, very Robert Rodriguez. I've heard good things about is it See No or Speak No Evil? Maybe both. I think there's probably a movie called See No Evil as well. Finally saw In a Violent Nature, and I'm done with yoga, says Liana. That's hilarious. Your Next is one I always suggest to everyone. Love it. Yeah, that one's really good. I think that one's pretty awesome. Pung Pai says, don't watch Human Centipede with grandma. Don't worry, we won't. Let's see here. Yeah, You're Next. That's the one that's where they wear the animal masks and everything, right, Pat? I think so. All right, guys. So we're coming up here on 9 o'clock. The show's been going for about a couple of hours. I want to get into the boxes that Eli sent over, if that's okay with you guys. So let's see what we got here. I don't know which one to open up first, Eli. I don't know. Let's see what we got. This one's got a little paper in there. That's for the cats. Put that on the ground and they'll have a great time with that one. They love whatever it is. I don't know what it is about just construction paper. Throw it on the ground for cats. They just go ape shit for it. What could you do? All right, so let's see what we got in box number 1. I want to make sure to not show Eli's address. There we go. Oh my goodness, Eli. I can already see through the bubble wrap on this one. You are quite the dude. Holy cow. You guys. Eli is just so giving and so sweet. Eli, you make me feel like I have 1 million subs, bud. So I'm taking these out. I'm trying not to look at them ahead of time. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be cool about it. Holy crap, though. Dude. Late Night with the Devil Steelbook. Limited edition collectibles inside. Oh my goodness, dude. This is gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that amazing cover there. Got David Dasmalchian, head on fire. Oh my God. I love this movie so much. And you know what, guys? Saw it in the theater. Haven't seen it since because I wanted to wait for that Night Owl edition to come out. Hey, that face looks familiar. It's almost like I superimposed my face on that body. Oh, wow. Holy crap. What do we got here? Commentary with David Dasmalchian. That's amazing. Q&A with directors Colin and Cameron Cairns. Excuse me. Behind the scenes of Late Night with the Devil. There's even limited edition collectibles. It looks like there's a sticker, amazing Christau little card there, a Night Owl signed card by Jack Delroy. That's amazing. Looks like a little bookmark or something like that. Trying to see. I can't tell what this is. I don't have my bifocals. Audience welcome pack is what that is. Okay, so this will be really cool to dive into. Maybe Eli, maybe when I do the Night Owl edition unboxing, I'll actually open this one up and kind of go through everything, and we can save that for a little Late Night with the Devil unboxing special. How does that sound? I think that sounds like a fun time. Oh my God. How apropos, dude. Steelbook 6 movie collection of Tremors. We just brought it up when Mel was on the show. I friggin' love the first Tremors movie. I think I've seen Tremors 2 and Tremors 3. I don't think I've seen anything beyond. I would imagine they're pretty like cheesy, but really funny. I would of course imagine that the first movie's got to be the best one. I mean, it's my favorite out of the ones that I've seen. This is awesome, Eli. I don't own a copy of any of the Tremors movies, and I love especially that first one. Absolutely love it to death. So thank you so much. This has got so Tremors 2, which is called Aftershocks. Tremors 3, Back to Perfection. Tremors 4, The Legend Begins. Oh, prequel. Tremors 5, Bloodlines. You got to have a Bloodlines, right? If you're going to do 5 movies, one of them's got to be called Bloodlines. And Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell. Oh yeah. That one looks wild. All right. Hell yeah, dude. I'm going to have to, you know what? You're always inspiring stuff here on the channel, Eli. I'm going to have to watch these and do a ranking of the franchise and you know, a little kind of review session on each one. Of course. Yeah, that'll be great. Hell yeah. Oh, another banger here. Steel Book of friggin' Return, the Return of the Living Dead. Holy cow. I want you guys to be able to really soak that in because it looks like it's sort of ever changing the colors there. Beautiful Tarman zombie there. This movie is in my top 10 favorite zombie films of all time. Just absolutely incredible. What a banger of a soundtrack it's got. All sorts of special features here. So disc 1 has the feature film. Disc 2 is the Blu-ray. Oh, so it's 4K Blu-ray. And then disc 3 is a Blu-ray of special features. A whole Blu-ray of special features. Return of the Living Dead work print, more brains, a return to the Living Dead, the effects of the Return of the Living Dead, party time, the music of the Return of the Living Dead. Hell yeah, I'm a big punk rock fan, so I love that shit. The origins of the Return of the Living Dead, the Return of the Living Dead, the dead have risen, designing the dead, horror's hallowed grounds, a look at the film's locations. Ooh, with Sean Clark, with our guy Sean Clark, and a conversation with writer-director Dan O'Bannon. Didn't Dan O'Bannon have something to do with the original Alien movie? Didn't he help write that movie? Or maybe it's Mandela Effect. Man, thank you so much for this one, Eli. This is incredible, man. I've just got the standard like Best Buy $7 Blu-ray. So this is a massive upgrade, man. Really appreciate you. And then we've got, Robert the Doll double feature. I've never even heard of these movies. Holy cow. So Robert and then The Curse of Robert. That is a creepy looking doll right there. Man, I got some creepy doll movies to catch up on. That could be its own series, or, you know, like a ranking of creepy doll B movies. How about that? Something like that. Hell yeah. Let's see here. I see Antonis says, if I become a member again, will you make my Bride of Chucky movie review? Antonis, I know I still owe you that review. No, you don't have to become a member again because I still owe you that review. That's one of those things I really need to get back into doing those pre-recorded reviews. Life has been a little crazy with work and everything lately. So it's one of those things where I'm finding the time. And yeah, I haven't forgotten Antonis, and I really appreciate you, you know, first off, you were one of the original patrons, and you were one of our members early on. And so, no, it's not a requirement that you become a member again. I will review Bride of Chucky. I think I'm even going to do a live, like tier ranker on the Child's Play series. And I think, guys, I don't know what to do about Davey Science Theater 3000 because I really wanted to show those movies on screen, and our streams got shut down twice last Saturday. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it the way that I wanted to do it. I really wanted to do public domain movies and show them on the screen, but if YouTube's going to remove or shut down my streams, then I either have to do it the old school way where you guys find the link and watch along with me, which I just don't think is as much fun when you're trying to like make fun of the movie and stuff like that, or have fun with the movie. So I'm thinking, should I do Davey Science Theater, or should I pivot it and do, for the month of October, do a live tier ranking of a franchise, and I bring on a guest for each one. So let me know in the comments below or in the chat right now, Should I just go ahead and push through with Davey Science Theater and you guys have to find your own link to watch the movie? Or do you want to see something totally fresh where we tackle a different franchise every week, do a tier ranker or tier maker ranking of the franchise, talk about the films and bring on a guest that is a big fan of that franchise? I think that could be fun too. So just let me know what you guys think. And we are getting into the second box here. Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. We've got some really fun stuff. Eli's got the stickers that Eli sends are really, really cool. Oh damn. These are really cool this time. I friggin' love, I just love Mario to death. Like, and I think this is from Paper Mario. He's got that cute kind of flat look to him. By the way, Antonis, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate your support, man. And yes, the Bride of Chucky movie review is coming. We're going to make it extra special for you. I swear, just if you have that little bit more patience for me, then it would be very much appreciated. And I very much appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, a little Paper Mario action there. It's a great sticker. Gonna have to put that on one of my water bottles. Really cool Volkswagen bus that says peace on the license plate. I think that'll be a good one for Kate right there. Rocky and Bullwinkle, man. I grew up loving this show so damn much. And it's a show that my dad watched when he was a kid, but they would play it on Nickelodeon when I was a kid, and I friggin' love it to death. And a cool little Rubik's Cube. How about that? Little flashback to the 80s, little Rubik's Cube action. And man, to couple with the really cool Zelda coin that Eli had sent over last time around, we've got this Super Mario Bros coin. Oh, there we go. And I wish you guys could like hold these because they've got this weight to them. They're really, really cool. It's not like some flimsy piece of plastic or anything. Like this really does feel like an actual coin. So let me that's the coin. So I almost broke my finger. So hell yeah, that's really cool, man. And it's one of 9 in the set. So I got the sweet little coin. It's a coin on a coin. Hell yeah. Let's see here. Chris is finally off to work. Have a great night at work, sir. Appreciate you for hanging out and of course being a mod. Hell yeah. Aaron says, Davey, reach out to other YouTubers about what happened with Davey Science Theater and find out if there's a way the movie can be shown. If not, scrap it. Yeah, it was heartbreaking, man. Yeah, it was rough. I was so bummed out. I won't ask again because I've asked you for an update on. Don't worry, Antonis. You definitely don't have to apologize to me. I'm the one that should be apologizing to you. So no worries. Absolutely. And Eli, where is Eli? Oh, there we go. Box 2 should help with Davey Science Theater 3000, I hope. Okay, so let's get into the heart of box 2. We do have this really cool, I don't know what's in here. Is this the gift for Kate, Eli? I think this might be it because she's such a big Harry Potter fan. So let's take a look. Let's spoil it, huh? Oh my goodness. Ooh, is this like it's like a wand that's like a pen, like a special commemorative. Let me see if I can take it out because the plastic is just so reflective, or at least there we go. Remove the plastic there. Yeah, it's got this really cool. Is that Gryffindor there? Of course. Yeah. And it's a wand. I think it's a pen. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little pen. How about that? This thing's got some weight to it too. Holy cow. Where do you get this stuff? Where does he get those wonderful toys? That's beautiful, Eli. Thank you so much, man. I wanted Kate to be able to come in and hang out for a little bit just for the unboxing because I knew that you had put something in here for her, but it just didn't work out. But I will make sure to pass that along to her, and I know she thanks you very, very much. So really appreciate the sweet thought for her birthday, man. And then let's see what we got here in the plastic wrap. Okay. Try not to look. Don't want to spoil it. All right. There we go. Come on. Okay. Ooh, so this might be what you're talking about. 50 movies, horror classics. There we go. We got Lon Chaney as the Phantom of the Opera there on the cover. Right? That's Lon Chaney. Gosh, I hope so. Holy cow, this movie. This is amazing. This is amazing how many movies are in here. So yeah, definitely. If the whole Davey Science Theater goes the route of just, we post a link and you have to bring up your own copy of the film or your own stream of the film while we watch and all that stuff, then certainly, yeah, this is the way to go. Let me see if I can. Ooh, Tormented. I've seen Tormented on Mystery Science Theater 3000. I bet there's The Screaming Skull. That's one of the movies that I put up in the poll. Original Nosferatu, Night of the Living Dead. This is amazing. Metropolis is in here. The Mad Monster, Little Shop of Horrors. This is the Last Man on Earth and then The Last Woman on Earth. So that's a good little double feature right there. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with John Barrymore. I don't think I've ever seen the John Barrymore version. I've seen pictures of him as Mr. Hyde, but I've never seen the actual film. Dementia 13. So this is great. This is a bunch of The Beast of Yucca Flats. Oh, that's like the worst movie I've ever seen. Yeah, The Beast of Yucca Flats is such a good, bad movie. One of my favorite Mystery Science Theater 3000 episodes. If you guys haven't watched Mystery Science Theater, check it out and go watch The Beast of Yucca Flats. I think all those episodes are on Mystery Science Theater. Thank you so much, Eli. This is amazing, man. The Fatal Hour with Boris Karloff. I could just read off like every single one. Indestructible Man with Lon Chaney Jr. Seen that one on Mystery Science Theater 3000. Killer Shrews, Mystery Science Theater 3000. Bloodlust, Mystery Science Theater 3000. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, man. That's so cool, man. Really appreciate you. And holy crap, what is this? Whoa. Season 1 collector's edition of Stranger Things. Man, this is like, I at first I was like, is this a VHS? But it's so big. Okay, so this is includes a 4-disc Blu-ray and DVD set and a collectible poster. Oh my goodness. But it's got that whole, it even has like a fake sticker there on the box. That's really, really cool. It says a love letter to the 80s classics that captivated a generation. Stranger Things is set in 1983 Indiana, where a young boy vanishes into thin air. As friends, family, and local police search for answers, they are drawn into an extraordinary mystery involving top secret government experiments, terrifying supernatural forces, and one very strange little girl. Hell yeah. Oh man, this is really cool. So it's got the VHS box, but it just all slides out of the bottom there. That is so rad. Thank you so much, Eli. That's really, really killer and a great way to cap off the boxes here. I really enjoyed season 1 of Stranger Things. Season 2, not so much, but man, season 1, this is a banger. This sort of reminds me of like if they took Halloween 3 and did like some sort of like, spiritual reboot or spiritual kind of sequel. It just has the Halloween 3 vibes to me with the music and with Hopper. I know he's not a doctor, but he's got that whole like, I'm a drunk mess kind of thing going on. And then the secret organization, like all their kind of stuff. Yeah, love Stranger Things season 1. Thank you so much, Eli. What an incredible haul from these 2 boxes, man. This is amazing. So we got, to recap everything that we've got here. We've got Return of the Living Dead Steelbook. Boom, count it. Tremors 6-movie collection, Steelbook. Boom, count it. Late Night with the Devil Steelbook limited edition with all sorts of goodies. Look at that. I know you're jealous. I'd be jealous if I didn't have it. And now I have it because Eli is the coolest. We got Robert the Doll double feature with Robert and The Curse of Robert. Hell yeah. I gotta learn about Robert, this Robert character. And of course, 50 horror classics and Stranger Things season 1, along with this really cool Gryffindor pen and Mario coin and some snazzy stickers. So thank you so much, Eli. Really appreciate the love. Gosh, it's incredible, man. It's I know some folks they get, mail from all sorts of subs, but Eli, the amount of mail that you've sent so far, it feels like I've just got dozens of people sending me really cool shit because, yeah, you are incredibly kind and gracious and just a lovely, lovely dude, man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Let's see here how far behind I am. um, Antona says, I used to really love the Harry Potter movies, and I still do, but not as big of a fan. Yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban's great. I think if you grew up with the books, like I totally get it. I didn't grow up with the books. I was, in my late teens, early 20s when they started coming out. So, but I do enjoy the movies. Kate and I watch them about once a year, and she's read the books 2 or 3 times, something like that. Let's see here. Let me see. Wave the pen and go expecto patronum. Antona says, damn, I remember buying that Universal Monsters box set years ago. Hell yeah. I saw a silent version of Dr. Jekyll. I think that's the one with John Barrymore. Yeah. There you go. Aaron says that collection will allow your Davey Science Theater 3000 to happen. Hell yeah. Ooh, I know you like that gift. Hell yeah. I love it all. I love it all. Yeah, maybe there is a way that I can figure it out. I don't know if I can hook the PlayStation up to the computer and run a stream that way. I definitely do have to do some digging if that's the way I'm going to go. We'll see how quickly I can figure that out. I got to figure something out because it's coming up quick, October and everything. So yeah, get ready for a journey to the upside down. Davey says, Prince, thank you so much, Prince. Appreciate you hanging out. Stranger Things final season next year. Journey is almost over. Once it's all done, I'll probably jump in and catch up with everything that I've missed. Yeah, man. Really appreciate you so much, Eli. Unbelievable, dude. The generosity is just, I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm completely overwhelmed by how amazing your kindness is, man. Thank you so much. Secrets of the Past. Parahistory says, hello from Canada. New subscriber here. What's happening? Welcome to the chat. You are hanging out with the Death Squad. Everybody makes Secrets of the Past feel so welcome here at the chat. We wrapped up with we had Mel from My Killer Podcast on the show earlier tonight, Secrets. So you can scrub on back if you want to check out that chat with her. I'm usually hopping on live 2 or 3 times a week at least on this channel, and then sometimes hopping over on someone else's channel to have a little horror discussion or cover a topic. Every week, every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, we're here for Late Night with the Davey. This is actually our 20th episode. So 20 weeks in a row we've been doing this. That's about 5 months worth of Late Night with the Davey. So thank you guys so much for, man, just helping this community grow, helping this audience grow. When I thought of this idea, I had maybe been doing lives for, I don't know, about a month, maybe something like that. I think I had maybe I had hit 500 subs by the time that we started this show. So in that time, the community has doubled, which is absolutely incredible. And welcome. Hello from Arizona to Canada. I dig your Edgar Allan Poe picture there. I'm a big Poe fan. So very, very cool to see. Let's see here. Raymond says, have you seen the Creepshow TV show, Davey? I finally started season 3 yesterday. Good stuff, like Tales from the Crypt. I've not seen the TV show yet. I do like the first 2 movies. I don't think I've ever seen the third movie. I feel like the third movie was a long time after the second one. But yeah, I need to check that out. What is it on? Shudder? Where can I watch that? Let's see here. Prince says The Cure is releasing new music, and Liana says, I'm into seeing where The Cure goes. Yeah, let's check it out. Let's check it out and see what they got. I dig their older stuff for sure. Yeah, they got good stuff. Absolutely, Secrets. Yeah, we're big old nerds here. We just hang out and chit chat about horror and about music and whatever the heck else. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I cover here on the channel is, has a horror tinge to it, or it's tilted that way, but we can get into some random conversations as well. And guys, speaking of not random conversations, but you know, we had Return of the Living Dead here in this beautiful stack that Eli, you know, sent out here. So this gorgeous steel book, and I had mentioned that this is in my top 10 zombie films of all time. So you know, months back, I was on Wolfman's Got Nards channel over there with Barry, and we did our top 10 zombie movies of all time and went through each one of our lists. And this one, of course, was in there for sure. And this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, I'm going to be hopping on with Curtis and Jenks over at Twisted Locker, my guys in Wales. If you guys don't subscribe to Twisted Locker yet, you should go check them out. Their content's amazing. And we're going to be doing a tier maker like ranking of our favorite zombie films. So we each submitted 10 of our favorites. We removed the doubles. You know, we're putting some honorable mentions in there, and we're going to rank each one live at 2 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to that. That should be a great time. We did have Foz and I had a Movie Punks episode planned for this Friday. We're covering the Lost Boys next, but something came up and we had to reschedule. So sorry about that, but we'll be picking that one up on Saturday, October 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking some Lost Boys, and we're going to double up in October for you. You guys are going to get Trick or Treat, the 1986 heavy metal horror film towards the end of the month before Halloween. So really pumped to get that going with you guys, or for you guys as well. You know, Movie Punks has been like a little, like, you know, we do it once a month. It's been a little slow going. It's just really trying to build that one up. So guys, if you haven't checked out any of the Movie Punks episodes, please feel free to go on over to the channel, hit that live tab and scroll on down and catch up with us on Movie Punks. Right around the 4th of July, we talked about this gem that I just can't seem to put down right now. I'm fidgeting with the Return of the Living Dead because the movie takes place right around the 4th of July. So Foz and I covered that earlier this year. So yeah, what else is there? We're sitting here at 9:23. We've been going for about 2.5 hours. Let's see here. Prince says Killer Clowns from Outer Space will be my official comeback to horror. Big thanks to Melly Girl. Yeah, Killer Clowns is amazing. So much fun. Yeah, Eli knows what's up. That movie's a blast. Talking about, you had mentioned Chiodos earlier, Eli. I think that band's really fun, and I think it's even cooler that they named their band after the guys that did the effects for Killer Clowns. And Chiodos those brothers did Critters. Is that right? I think so. Just zombie horror or movies like Zombieland include? Yeah, any horror movie that has zombies in it. So Zombieland was in my top 10 for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I heard the same thing, Raymond. I heard Creepshow 3 is not good. Killer Clowns is a blast. What's happening? Heavy Metal Beer Club. First time in the chat. What's happening, y'all? Great to see you. We got to put a little something together for the Heavy Metal Beer Club. We got to do a little collab. Hit me up. Let's get that going. Miss you guys. Hanging out with the folks from the Heavy Metal Beer Club at Gathering of the Ghouls earlier this year when Cody Leach was in town. We were all kicking it with Robert the Wolfman. Great to see you guys in the chat. Secret says George Romero is buried at the Toronto Necropolis Cemetery in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. That's amazing. I didn't know he was buried in Canada. Romero is, you know, probably my favorite director of all time. I absolutely adore his Dead films. I mean, Day of the Dead is like my number one tippy top favorite zombie film of all time. So yeah, that's pretty awesome to know that. Liana says, woohoo, I have a date with my husband on Friday night. The kids will be away. I'm glad it got moved. Perfect. I'm glad it works for you as well. Boom. Yes, absolutely. Some metal, some beer, all that fun stuff. I know someone said they like watching movies on Shudder, so I said, well, that's a good place as any. Yeah, I think Shudder's pretty all right. I haven't seen Trick or Treat either, Raymond. I have to find a way to catch up on it before our episode. Yeah, man, I'll have to open it up and check it out for sure. Hell yeah. Let's see here. Just watched Death Sentence with Kevin Baconator. I've heard really good things about Death Sentence, and I think it's originally it's in the book series that Death Wish is from, the old Charles Bronson films. So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. I need to check out Death Sentence. It looked hardcore as fuck. Um, and I love Kevin Bacon. Secrets has never been a Killer Clown from Outer Space fan. It's a good movie. I'm more of a Hellraiser and Pinhead fan. I totally understand why you like Hellraiser more, because you've got that Edgar Allan Poe shot in your icon there, Secrets, because I think of Hellraiser as kind of like a Edgar Allan Poe story mixed with like Evil Dead kind of effects. It's a really cool like tale of morality and all that kind of fun stuff. Like it just really reminds me of that old school style of horror. It's really, really good. I mean, old school in the story's essence, but clearly pushing, the gore to that more modern level at the time it came out back in 87. Fung Pai says, I wonder how many fans have tried to just to see if he's a zombie. That's hilarious. Heavy Metal Beer Club snuck into the original Dawn of the Dead in the theater. Shows my age. Hell yeah, man, that would be incredible to go back and see Dawn of the Dead in the theater. Holy cow, amazing. It's one of my favorite zombie films of all time as well. It's right up there. I mean, Romero's movies they're all tight, right in that top 5 for sure. Let's see here. Death Sentence was really good, says Raymond. James Wan directed, and John Goodman was great too. Oh, I did not know that James Wan directed. Okay, I'll have to check that out for sure. James Wan, brother of James too. That's pretty funny, Prince. Starcourt says, Davey, have you seen Flanagan's The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix, based around Edgar Allan Poe? I still need to check that one out. I've missed that one. I've missed a couple of his Netflix little limited series, but definitely got to get into that game because I like that format. Not necessarily doing a movie or a trilogy of movies, but doing like a mini series that has like a film kind of quality and tells a grand story. I definitely got to check it out for sure. Death Wish was a Saturday afternoon movie, King. Yeah, I feel like all those movies would play on like, gosh, what was it? Like USA Network just all the time when I was growing up. Yeah, it's funny stuff. Death Sentence was a really good movie. Kevin Bacon's transformation was really cool. Yeah, I gotta see. I remember seeing the trailer years ago in the theater, and just like even just the trailer itself kind of blew my mind there. Let's see here. I think we're all kind of caught up. I love Hill House. Okay. All right. Well, I gotta check it out. I gotta check out the Fall of the House of Usher. Secret says, I'm a paranormal supernatural researcher and investigator, historian, cemetery, and graveyard tour guide, a horror movie fan, true crime historian, and more. All right, man. Quite a troubadour. Boom. There it is. Eli dropping the truth bomb. Midnight Mass is where it's at. Absolutely. Grumpy Gorehound, what's happening? Grumpy said, saw The Substance last night. What a fucked up, surrealistic flick. It was doing great up to a point, and then I found myself thinking, and we've jumped the shark. I've not seen it yet, Grumpy. I've heard it's absolutely amazing. So I'll probably have to, check it out here at some point pretty soon, just because so many people have been saying it's like the best horror movie of the year. So yeah, gonna have to check that out. But let's see here. Guys, we are at 2.5 hours. My voice is a little raspy. It was a wild day at work, so I'm feeling a little bit tired. And I think it's time for me to go chill out with my kitty cats and my wifey wife. But you guys have been amazing hanging out. We still have 31 people here watching the stream. That is absolutely incredible. You guys, man, I say this all the time, but you guys fuel what we do here at the channel. I love you guys so much. All of the subscribers and the channel members and the patrons. Thank you to Antonis for the 2 super chats tonight. Our guy Coy, Happy Sanjo, throwing out a super chat as well. Really, really appreciate you, Coy. One last sip of water. Just so I can really finish strong for you guys. Yeah, you guys are absolutely amazing. Of course, giant thank you to Eli for the double box gift set here. Just so damn much. Incredible. So yeah, guys, I'll be back on, let's see here. It will be, well, I'm gonna have to figure something. I might figure something out for Late Night with the Devil, the Night Owl set that came out. So keep a keen eye out on the channel, because I'll probably plan something for either tomorrow or Friday. So be on the lookout. I'll share that on all of my socials. If you guys don't follow me on my socials, there's links in the description below. You can also find links for our guest Mel from My Killer Podcast. Her links are in the description below as well. So yeah, guys, really appreciate you so much. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any last minute chats. Grumpy says Demi definitely knocked it out of the park. I'd say Oscar worthy even. Wow. Okay. So now I definitely have to see it in the theater if that's what's going on for sure. Yeah, hell yeah. Eli says, don't forget to slash that like button and sub to the channel. Thank you so much, Eli. We also have a channel membership for as low as 99 cents a month, where you get, you can ask questions that get asked to our guest here on Late Night with the Davey. You get exclusive posts that I don't share with anyone else on any other platform, which I think is really cool. And we do some members only streams and fun stuff like that. So just $1 a month can get you access to that. So think about it. Think about it. And you guys have been incredible. Love you guys so much. What else am I missing? I hope I'm not missing anything else. Ooh, but Raymond found one, said, don't forget the poll, Davey. You rock, Raymond. So the poll was, if you could live 1 year in any decade, which would you choose? And there are 66 votes. The 1980s overwhelmingly wins with 47%. The 90s with 21% in second place. The 70s at 18% and the 60s at 14%. Boom, we're gonna end it at that. I think that's a pretty damn good poll. I think I would probably, man, for me, it's kind of a toss-up between the 70s and the 80s, because I didn't experience any of the 70s. So it would have been really cool to catch Jaws in the theater or something like that. Or like Heavy Metal Beer Club, I could have be sneaking into Dawn of the Dead or something like that. Sleep, what's that? You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much. Keep an eye out on the socials for my next stream, where we'll be going through the Night Owl edition of Late Night with the Devil. I'm so pumped to do that with you guys. That's going to be it for me tonight. So until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.